So we want to get out to Kcal News reporter Kara Finstrom joining us live right now from Duarte with more on this. Kara, good morning.
Good morning. So far, a light, steady rain out here. You can see just a little bit of a runoff down the street, and that is a good sign. They're hoping it stays that way. You can also see all the K-rails that are in place here. The foothills, the mountains expected to get some of the heaviest rain from this storm, so Public Works has issued a mud flow alert. In particular, they're asking folks who live along these streets here just below the fish fire burn scar to stay alert. These temporary K-rails, they were put into place after the fire to divert mud flows from homes, and the hope is that they will stay in place here until that hillside completely heals. Now, I want to give you a look at another area where there are concerns. Take a look. We're talking about areas around the burn scar created by the Owen fire in Topanga Canyon. That has prompted a warning of possible evacuations there. The County Office of Emergency Management issued an evacuation warning for residents, and that includes the area around Santa Maria Road, north of Topanga Canyon Boulevard. That warning will remain in place until 6 tomorrow morning. Kcal flew over the canyon at dusk yesterday. I want to give you a look at that video. It shows everything still intact with no issues at that point. The warning, though, it is urging residents to prepare for possible evacuation should heavy rains cause the hillside to start sliding. It asks them to gather loved ones, pets, and supplies, and to monitor those local weather and news alerts. Back here live, giving you another look at the rain out here. This area is under a green alert level. That means there's no additional restrictions in place right now. But the big worry is for prolonged periods of heavy rain that could cause things to start slipping and sliding on that hillside, which again isn't fully healed yet. So we'll keep an eye on things. We know that the local leaders here are also going to be closely monitoring this as that storm system moves through. Back to you.
Okay, Carl, thank you so much. And the rain is also creating landslide concerns in the Palos Verdes area after a landslide destroyed a dozen homes in Rolling Hills Estates last year. Crews have been stopping by in recent months to shore up the hillside, but residents are still worried about homes slipping away.
That's it. I mean, you can't tell. And even if the rain stops, it could all of a sudden start to slip again. It doesn't appear that it's really gotten dramatically worse since maybe about October.
And those who live nearby say they've been noticing cracks and buckles into the roadways recently. They're just hoping those are just minor issues. Also, a preliminary report released a couple of months ago found that the excess of rains last winter played a role in the slide.
And our next weather coverage continues all day right here on Kcal News Mornings. And you can always find up-to-the-minute radar and forecasts in your neighborhood on kcalnews.com.
Republican presidential candidate Nikki Haley claims that the primary would be a two-person race has proven to be correct. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis suspended his campaign yesterday and has endorsed former President Trump.
And with just a day before New Hampshire voters head to the polls, Trump and Haley are crisscrossing the state while stepping up attacks on one another as well. Kcal News correspondent Penny Comet joins us live right now from Manchester with more on the primary. Penny, good morning.
Kalina, Chris, good morning. So there's two kind of clear pathways for Republicans here in New Hampshire. You have the pro-Trump Republicans and you have the anti-Trump Republicans. So when Ron DeSantis dropped out yesterday and endorsed Donald Trump, still Nikki Haley feels that she could get some of those voters that were maybe going to vote for DeSantis and still don't want to vote for former President Trump.
It's clear to me that a majority of Republican primary voters want to give Donald Trump another chance.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis suspending his campaign yesterday, throwing his support behind former President Trump and taking a parting shot at former GOP rival Nikki Haley.
We can't go back to the old Republican guard of yesteryear, a repackaged form of warmed-over corporatism that Nikki Haley represents.
That's the sound of a two-person race.
Yet on the campaign trail, both Haley and Trump wish DeSantis well.
I'd like to take time to congratulate Ron DeSantis.
And they continue to trade barbs.
The majority of Americans disapprove of Trump and Biden.
She's unelectable.
Haley even questioned Trump's mental fitness after he appeared to confuse her with House Speaker Nancy Pelosi while discussing January 6th.
Nikki Haley is in charge of security. We offered her 10,000 people.
I wasn't even anywhere near the Capitol. The reality is he was confused.
With just one day until the nation's first primary election, multiple polls are still showing Donald Trump with a double-digit lead.
I hope that Trump wins. I believe he will.
More or less rooting for Nikki Haley at the moment, just because I want Trump to lose.
Meanwhile, Democrats are organizing a write-in campaign for President Biden, since his name will not appear on the ballot. And the reason President Biden's name won't be on the ballot is because of a Democratic Party decision to move their First in the Nation primary down to South Carolina.
All right, Penny, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Well, the Monterey Park community has come together for a vigil marking 1 year since the deadly mass shooting.
Let's honor Bai Nan, Xu Jun Yu, Hong Jian, Xia Yao, Yen Yu.
All 11 victims killed at the Star Ballroom Dance Studio 1 year ago were honored last night. Locals are still grieving, but they came together in service with music and prayers. The candlelight vigil also served as a call to action to curb gun violence. Brandon Tsai disarmed the shooter before he could carry out a second attack that night, and he says the work is far from over.
Together, we are not just victims. We are a community of heroes that thrives from a brighter and safer future without gun violence.
And next weekend, the city will host Lunar New Year festivities as it was doing the night of the shooting. City leaders say they are aware it'll be marked with some sadness, but they want to proceed nonetheless.
At an evening of remembrance and also celebration in Alhambra, survivors of the dance studio shooting met up at the World Seafood Restaurant in Alhambra. They say they wanted to have a party to prove that this tragedy won't define them and to show the world that they are resilient. Of course, they had some food there, music, and ballroom dancing as well. It was a celebration of survival and also a way to honor the lives lost.
This is like our rebirth, of 1 year. We have a regular birthday, but that day we all, went through the tragedy and are lucky to be alive.
I was in a hospital for 16 days, so I'm very happy to be alive, and I'm happy to have the celebration here.
Now, we also spoke with survivors who told us this event was also about proving they are not afraid.
CSU students return to college for the spring semester. The only issue, professors might not be in the classroom. Nearly 30,000 faculty members and other employees will walk off the job at all 23 Cal State University campuses. Picket lines at places like Cal State Fullerton, Long Beach, and Northridge are expected to get going around 8 a.m. The faculty members are demanding a 12% raise, smaller class sizes, more parental leave, and reduced workloads. A CSU spokesperson says that the salary request would result in painful cuts to the system. The walkout is scheduled to last for 5 days. All right, 5:09 on your wet Monday morning. Okay, we got bad news for employees of some major companies. What's fueling the massive layoffs?
Also, cold weather taking a toll on EVs. We'll explain why drivers are frustrated and the challenges they're facing.
Also, home prices continue to soar, but first-time buyers, well, you're getting some help. We've got those details ahead.
And we have a look at the 210. This is in Arcadia this morning where it is so slick and volume is starting to build in the westbound direction. We also have a crash 605 south before the 60 right lane blocked off, speeds down to 13 miles per hour.
And with his latest system, when thunder roars, head indoors because we could see some isolated thunderstorms with this system. I'll let you know when things will start to dry out.
My hair started thinning in my early 20s. I was genetically predisposed. I took a pharmaceutical drug, but unfortunately I suffered from sexual dysfunction. We needed to find a solution. Having to choose between my hair and my health was not really a fair choice. That really was the birth of Nutrafol. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement. It's never too late to improve your hair health.
Wu giving you a live look at LAX this morning. It is dark out there. Can't really see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars out there.
Might be the camera too.
Okay.
A little dark.
We'll go with that. However, we do have wet conditions out there, so please be careful. And welcome to Kcal News Mornings at 5 o'clock and streaming on CBS News Los Angeles. The time right now is 5:13.
All right, so now to the war in the Middle East. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has rejected a deal with Hamas to release hostages in exchange for Israel leaving Gaza, while Hamas remains the power in the territory. Naomi Ruckham has the latest on the spreading conflict as the death toll continues to rise.
The families of those killed during the massacre at the Supernova Music Festival in Israel on October 7th gathered at the site to plant trees over the weekend, honoring their loved ones.
We are here to show the world that we are here to stay. As the tree that develops its roots in the soil, we are here to stay.
It comes as Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu adamantly rebuffed terms from Hamas that involve releasing hostages in exchange for Israel's complete withdrawal from Gaza. The Israeli army has released more footage of what it describes as a tunnel where about 20 hostages were held by Hamas. About 100 hostages are still in captivity in Gaza. The Hamas-run health ministry says 25,000 people have now died in Gaza since the war began, with large sectors of the population forced to leave their homes. On the West Bank, Palestinian officials say a 17-year-old Palestinian American was shot and killed by Israeli troops Friday. Loved ones gathered over the weekend to remember him in Louisiana, where he was raised.
He was outgoing, goofy, funny, great heart. Bright kid, bright future.
This as the war shows no signs of letting up, despite mounting pressure from the international community to end the fighting. Naomi Ruckham, Kcal News.
Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! And more than 100 pro-Palestinian demonstrators, including some Hollywood celebrities, took to the streets of Park City, Utah yesterday during the Sundance Film Festival, calling for a ceasefire in Gaza. Protesters on the town's busy main street said they were hoping to turn the spotlight of media attention toward the Israel-Hamas war.
You know, as everyone here is appreciator of art or creator of art, Sundance is possibly the most renowned platform of where art is being showcased and celebrated. And I think it's very important that we protest here, and that I do my minimal part to be a part of this greater organization, this greater amount of people.
The death toll in Gaza has surpassed 25,000 since the start of the war. That is according to the Hamas Health Ministry.
We got some big layoffs on the way for several major companies. The parent company of Sports Illustrated is laying off a large number of the iconic magazine's staff, though the publisher says it will continue to put out content. The magazine was recently accused of publishing AI-generated stories with fake author bylines, but the company denies those claims. Online marketplace Wayfair is laying off 13% of its employees, with its CEO saying the company expanded too quickly after COVID. Also, Macy's has plans to cut 2,300 jobs and close 5 store locations as it prepares to, quote, deploy a new strategy to meet the needs of an ever-changing consumer and marketplace. The end of an era for so many. For Sports Illustrated, I know a lot of people sad about that. So.
Well, a lot of people might be sad about the rain, too. Amber Lee is keeping us updated with that. So when are we going to see the worst of it today?
It's taking place right now. So we're looking at that heavy rain really pushing in right now. So just be prepared for the next few hours. So I know that puts a big, makes it really busy for you, Kalina, especially checking the roadways, because we all know that with the rain, it causes that traffic to snarl a little bit. So just give yourself some extra time if you're watching right now from home and you haven't left yet. Here's a look at where we're seeing some of the heaviest rain at the moment, from Oxnard all the way to Santa Clarita, and then also up against the foothills, La Crescenta, and then also the Pasadena area, slowly working its way into the Rancho Cucamonga area. And then we're looking at that rain spreading into Chino Hills as well. So Anaheim, Santa Ana still dealing with some moderate rain. And then you could also see what's happening off the coast. We have a lot more of that rain still working its way inland. So again, this system is not quite over. So here's a look at the rain chances over the course of the next 12 hours. So the bulk of the energy will be this morning, and then as we head toward the afternoon, we still have the scattered showers lingering with us, so rain continues on even as we head into the evening. But again, the heaviest will take place right now as we head toward the rest of the morning up until about 12 p.m. So coast and valleys could see an additional 1 inch. So far, we've already seen anywhere from a quarter inch to about an inch of rain since this weekend. And then the mountains could see an additional 2+ inches. Desert communities, another ½ an inch. And then during this time, because this is a stronger system and a little bit colder, tapping into some of that unstable air, isolated thunderstorms cannot be ruled out throughout the afternoon into the evening as well. And then snow levels during this time will continue to drop. So later tonight, we could see snow levels as low as 6,000 feet. Here's a look at the futurecast so you kind of get an idea what's happening at about 8:15. We're actually looking at some really strong conditions right over some of our foothill communities. And then we're also looking at it into the San Gabriel Valley and then working its way into portions of the Inland Empire. And then we're also looking at more of that rain continuing to stick around for much of the morning. And then finally, just before the lunch hour, we start to see some pockets of clearing. But again, this will be short-lived because we're going to still see on again, off again showers throughout much of the afternoon. And then finally, by the evening, during that evening rush hour commute, if you're headed to the Inland Empire, we're looking at more of that steady rain sitting over the Inland Empire until later tonight. And then as we head into the overnight hours, we start to dry out. But we still could see some lingering showers into early tomorrow morning for some spots. But really, Tuesday will be much nicer than today. We're looking at more of that sunshine peeking through. Temperatures will gradually start to warm up once we head toward the end of the week and into this upcoming weekend. So that means we're looking at below average conditions today, closer to normal tomorrow, and then we are warming up as we head toward the end of the week. Back to you.
All right, Amber, thank you. We're going to take a look at the 405 this morning because we do know a lot of people will be hitting the road and taking the Sepulveda Pass. This is what it looks like right now. You can see the volume starting to pick up just slightly. It's much earlier than it typically does, and we have wet conditions as well. Also getting reports of flooding happening on the northbound 405 right at Olympic. That's impacting the carpool and the 2 left lanes. So far, no major backup. I did want to let you know it's there. We also have a 3-car crash westbound 10 just past the 5 lanes blocked off in that area as well. And then we also have this crash southbound 605 before the 60 right lane blocked off there. All right, the time right now is 5:20. People are dealing with cold temperatures all across the country. Coming up, how the weather is causing some issues for electric cars.
And how much money would it take for you to ditch your phone for a month? Well, one company is putting that to the test. Electric cars are known for being efficient. Now some EV owners say they don't do well in the cold, leaving the owners to suffer. So the cold weather that's being felt across the U.S. can cut EV range and also make charging tough. A car expert says batteries don't release as much energy when the temperatures dip. It also can't accept as much electricity from a charging plug, causing the process to slow down. Drivers are hopeful, though, that automakers will develop models with solutions to protect your battery life. The National Association of Realtors says home sales plunged more than 18% in 2023 compared to the previous year. That is the biggest decline since the housing slump of the late 2000s. Economists blame a shortage of homes for sale, and home prices soared to average record highs of $389,000 in 2023, with 30-year mortgage rates topping at nearly 8%. Well, if any first-time buyers, home buyers are brave enough to weather the real estate storm here in California, there is financial help available. The Dream for All program will be available this spring. The program lends borrowers up to 20% of a home's price, up to $150,000. Homeowners will have until April to find a state-approved lender and then start working on an application. The lottery opens in early April. Between 1,700 and 2,000 people will receive vouchers, and they'll also have 60 days to spend on a home. All right, let's take a look at your wake-up weather. It's a wet one with Amber. Hey, Amber.
Hi. Yeah, so I'm tracking all this wet weather here in Southern California, and that's because this is the last and strongest storm system of a series of them that we've seen all weekend long. So you can see it is still working its way into Southern California right now. So far, how much rain have we actually gotten within the last few days? Because we had a couple of these disturbances pushing in. I will have your rain totals coming up just a little bit later, and then I'll also let you know how much of or when we're actually going to start to dry out and when the 70s start to reappear here in our forecast. Back to you.
Amber, thank you. Just ahead, America's worst drivers ranked. See if you agree with where California falls on the list.
And Amber was just talking about the rain. We are seeing it come down in Santa Monica. We'll tell you about the conditions here and on the roads coming up.
Kcal News Mornings.
Good morning. Today is January 22nd. It's a wet one. Welcome to Kcal News at 5 o'clock. I'm Kalina Estrinos and from Marcy Gonzalez.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. I'm Chris Holmstrom. Here are some of the major headlines we're following for you this morning. Of course, we're tracking the wet weather all morning. We're going to take you live to the coast with what you need to know before you head out the door.
And a deadly crash in Long Beach. A car flies off a bridge and into a channel below, killing 2 passengers inside. We have the latest on the investigation.
Then a brazen break-in. Thieves ram a stolen car into a Kcal clothing store, then ransacked the small business. As you can see, it is all caught on camera.
All right, we do want to take a look at the forecast this morning. We both had rain coming into work.
It's a wet one.
It's going to be really busy out there this morning. So Amber Lee is breaking it all down for us, and we're seeing the brunt of it right now.
Yeah, so when you factor all of those things in, you could see that we're dealing with a very soggy morning here in Southern California. So we're still dealing with a big band of rain that's starting to really push into Southern California right now. And we're starting to see much more of that rain in the Inland Empire. So our bust our forecast today, I'm going to give it a B. I know we've had some debate. I know Chris and Kalina both are saying B minus just because of the way the rain is coming down. And so it is the brunt of it will be this morning. So you can see temperatures will be in the low 50s. And then once we head toward the afternoon, we'll get some breaks, but it'll still be on again, off again. But tomorrow it's going to be a better day. So I think tomorrow will be an A. Back to you guys.
All right, Amber, thank you so much. And we do have 2 SIG alerts out there this morning, one on the 91, the other one on the 215. But I want to give you a look at the 5. This is in Santa Ana. You can see the volume is just building so much out there. And then we also have the slick conditions. So that's what you're dealing with this morning. This is the first SIG alert. So 91 East at Lakeview Avenue, the express lanes along with the left lane blocked off. That backup starting to build coming off the 55. But the westbound side is slowing down out of Corona as you continue all the way into the Orange County area. So keep that in mind. The other SIG alert is on the 215 southbound right at Box Springs. That's in the Inland Empire. We have the carpool lane blocked off because of a crash there. That will be blocked for the next 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's going to be a slow commute this morning for sure. All right, so slowly but surely a storm is moving in across SoCal, and rain's been coming down pretty steadily all along the coast.
I want to get out to Kcal News reporter Tina Patel joining us live right now in Santa Monica with a closer look at the conditions, and we can hear the rain hitting your umbrella this morning, Tina.
Yes, unfortunately, if you're at home and you're actually just lying in bed, it probably sounds really nice. It's very relaxing. But if you have to get up and get out this morning, you're not going to like these conditions because the rain is coming pretty steadily down now. Let me show you some video when we were driving here along the 405 because a lot of us are going to be affected as we head out on our morning commute. Now, it was still early on the road, so we didn't see a lot of problems, but it's definitely slick out there. Not so much flooding or any accidents yet, but definitely give yourself a little bit of extra time. Slow down in these conditions because you just never know where those kind of slick spots are. Now let me show you the video here in Santa Monica. The rain has been coming down very steady for the last couple of hours. Again, it's early in the morning, so we're not seeing a lot of people out and about in these conditions. But as you start to get ready, you're definitely going to want to prepare as you get dressed. It's a little bit chilly. It's going to be wet, so maybe kind of dress in those layers, get those hoods out, get that umbrella if it's been a while since you've had that, and just make sure that you are aware that the morning is going to be soggy, and you definitely need to keep an eye on some of the areas where there might be some flooding. Now, as we come back here live, we are just a couple blocks from the beach, and I don't imagine a lot of people are going to be heading to the beach in this weather, but the LA County Public Health Department has already put out a warning saying that even when the rain stops, there is going to likely be runoff for the next couple of days, so they're advising everybody to be careful along the coast, stay away from the water, stay away from those storm drains until everything kind of run out and clear up again. Just want to kind of put that out there for those that maybe are visiting and wanted to get to the beach. Not the really best time to visit. We'll send it back to you.
Great advice, Tina. Thank you. Well, the heavy rain across the Sierra could cause some flooding today. This latest storm is also expected to bring some snow to the Truckee area. People there are hoping to get just the right amount of snowfall to keep traffic moving along.
There's been less snow for sure, but I mean, last year was 700 plus inches, so you can't compare it to last year.
That was crazy last year. Drivers have been dealing with a slow commute along the 80 freeway where snow has been causing bumper-to-bumper delays.
A disturbing discovery in South LA as police say 2 Spectrum workers found a decapitated body in an alley along 78th Street. Investigators say the head was later found underneath the corpse. The body was apparently decomposed. An investigation is now underway.
2 men were killed in Long Beach after their car crashed and then veered off a bridge, landing into 10 feet of water in a canal below. This happened just before 6:30 p.m. last night. Rescue crews arrived at the scene on Studebaker Road between 2nd Street and Loines Drive and found the victims trapped in the car submerged in the Los Cerritos Channel. One of the victims was pronounced dead at the scene. The other, a man in his 30s, was rushed to a nearby hospital and later died.
And there were initial reports, based on what we were told, is the vehicle was on fire as it went into the water after the actual initial accident. But as far as that, the individual stated that they watched the vehicle go underwater, and that's obviously our agent company got on scene, identified it, and confirmed that actually had occurred.
The crash is still under investigation.
A mob of thieves drove a stolen government car into a high-end clothing and sneaker store in Bellflower and ended up stealing thousands of dollars worth of goods. I mean, you can see right here, the driver started backing up the vehicle, trying to knock down a large gate. Later, you see a group of people wearing masks and hoodies just ransack that store. It happened early yesterday morning at the Hype Kingdom sneakers and clothing store. The crooks, they needed just a couple of minutes to run back out with bags overflowing in their arms. The owner thinks they got away with $100,000 in merchandise.
I think it's best that we just find a more secure location in general, because it's a big liability at this point to have any high-end sneaker store or high-end anything in any outdoor shopping center.
Yeah, it's going to make business owners not want to have that kind of business. Well, the owner says this was his dream business, and he's only been open for 7 months. Now he plans for opening a second store. Well, those plans are on hold. Okay,
Chris, how long can you go phone free? Really?
You know what? I need to try probably 8 hours while I'm sleeping.
Do you go phone free on vacation at all?
I try to. Yeah, I
Okay.
put my phone away and I'll charge it and then stay away from it.
Baby steps.
Baby steps, yeah.
There we
All
go.
right, so get this. One company is willing to pay people $10,000
Ooh.
to lose their digital detox. No phone at all for an entire month. Can you do it?
I'd do it.
I would do it too.
For $10,000, yeah, I'd do it.
Yeah, is that before or after taxes? No, I'm kidding. The yogurt company, Siggy's Dairy, says it's nice to live a simpler life with less distractions. And as we all know, many of those distractions come from the phone.
You asked the best questions. Now I'm thinking about it before taxes.
I know,
okay,
right?
So in
Is it
addition
worth
to the
it?
cash, other prizes available include 3 months worth of Siggy's yogurt. That's yum. A 1-month prepaid SIM card, and appropriately enough, a smartphone lockbox. For those willing to put down the phone, more information is on Siggy's website. You have until the end of the month to apply. I did put that little alert in your phone. You could set it to, for a limit on how long you're on social media.
Yeah, that's smart.
It
Because
went
when you're
by
on there,
real
you're just like
fast.
mindlessly scrolling,
Yeah.
you know, and wasting
Saving
time.
recipes and looking at dog
I
videos,
know.
Amber.
Yes, all the time.
Taylor Swift.
I feel so seen. But I would do it too. I would do it for $10,000, right? All right, so let's talk about the rain. Today is probably a good day to try and stay inside if you can. But here's a look at what's happening, and that's because we are talking about the latest storm system is also the strongest one out of the series of storms that we've had all weekend long. 54 degrees currently for Corona. This is your hour-by-hour forecast for the next 12 hours for Corona. You're going to still see a lot of that rain really coming down this morning, and then it becomes a little bit lighter into showers just before the lunch hour. But then we start to see the showers turn into a little bit more rain as we head into the latter part of the afternoon. So far, here's a quick look at our preliminary rainfall totals for the last 3 days. We saw a lot of it over the mountains. San Diego Peak, just under 3 inches, over 1.25 inches for Coto de Caza. Murrieta, over 1 inch, under 1 inch for the Anaheim Hills, under 1 inch also for Rialto, and then over 1/2 inch for Garden Grove. I will have more details on how much rain we're expecting from this system coming up. Back to you.
All right, Amber, thank you. And as we head out the door, I want to take a look at this SIG alert here. 3 cars involved in this crash, southbound 215 past Box Springs Road. The carpool lane is blocked off, and it will be blocked off for at least the next 20 minutes. You can see the backup in both directions, north and southbound there. Now, the 15, a lot of people take the 15 through the Cajon Pass to get to work, get to school. So we're already seeing some slowing out there in wet roads and wet conditions. It's a 43-minute ride so far between the 18 and the 215. So please plan at least 20 minutes of cushion time as you head out the door. Here's a look at the rest of Orange County. We do have the SIG alert still here, eastbound 91 at Lakeview Avenue, the express lanes and left lane blocked off there. Westbound traffic building from the 15 to the 55. That'll take you about 32 minutes to get through. We also have eastbound traffic as well.
All right, 5:38 on your wet Monday morning. Let's talk Mean Girls.
Sure.
They're winning again.
What?
The movie musical shakes off the competition at the weekend box office.
And cold weather isn't stopping people from hitting the pavement. We will take you to the Pasadena area for the annual Rose Bowl Half Marathon.
And how much do Californians spend on groceries every month? Well, it may actually be higher than you think. We're going to break down a new study.
Not just for George Clinton, but for the power of the phone, the power of unity of one nation under a groove.
Love him. Saw him perform here in LA. Phenomenal. Clinton founded the barbershop doo-wop group The Parliaments as a teenager in the 1950s. His style eventually transitioned with his current group, Parliament Funkadelic.
He still looks so cool, too.
I know.
May I have everyone's attention, please? We have a new student. Dance break.
At the box office, the musical remake of the 2004 hit made $11.7 million at the box office this weekend. The snarky comedy saw a 59% drop from its debut, even while owning the competition. The action flick, The Beekeeper with Jason Statham, held on to second place again. It earned $8.5 million in its second week. Wonka, Anyone But You, and Migration round out the top 5.
Chris and I are not there, but runners hit the pavement over the weekend in Pasadena for the Rose Bowl Half Marathon. We're going to do it next year, right?
A half marathon?
Yeah.
I need to prepare for that. I need at least 2 years.
You got this. 2 years?
Yeah, I've got bad knees.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Always an excuse.
Nearly 14,000 people took part running the 13.1-mile course. The race took them all over the city before ending on the famous Rose Bowl football field. And the weekend's wet weather brought perfect conditions for the run.
Rain or shine, we're still going to run. We're ready. We started out around at 6:30. Perfect weather, chilly, but no sun, so this is running weather.
I'm going to get you knee braces for the run next year, Chris.
That does help.
The event directly supports the McCourt Foundation and their goal to cure neurological diseases. The foundation's team raised more than $70,000 alone.
And some disappointing news for fans of Hidden Valley Ranch. The company released a lip balm collaboration with Burt's Bees, but get this, it's already sold out online. So, Kalina,
I bought them all.
you bought them all. At least for now, the lip balm comes in 4 flavors: Hidden Valley Ranch, crunchy celery, fresh buffalo, fresh carrot, and also those are just 4 of them, though the makers note they are not for consumption.
Our producer Jessica was like, I don't know if I want to be smelling like this the entire day.
Right.
Going in for a kiss.
Just always licking your lips. I'd be worried that, you would leave it on the couch or something, your dog would get it and want to eat it.
Look at you, you're such a good dog parent.
I try to be.
Amber, I'm
sometimes.
so impressed.
But I do love me
impressed
some
too.
Hidden Valley Ranch, for sure.
But enough to put on your as a chapstick?
I mean, maybe
I
the
don't know.
fresh carrot.
What?
Right?
None of those sound even
crunchy
good at
celery.
all. Oh
She's
my
like,
goodness.
no.
Well, you know what? If you get the chapstick, you can put it on and stay indoors today, so you don't have to see anybody. All right, here's a quick look at our satellite radar. So we are dealing with all this rain. So this is our last storm systems in the series that we've seen all weekend, and this is a stronger one. So you could already see that this morning we're waking up to a lot of that moderate rainfall, and it's going to continue to get a little heavier in some spots. And we're already seeing some heavier rain coming down into Santa Clarita. Areas like Thousand Oaks starting to get a little bit of a break, but still rainy here. But we're seeing more of that heavy rain in the La Crescenta area, downtown LA, South LA, also right along the coast, the South Bay area, and then also our San Gabriel Valley. And then slowly but surely, we're starting to see that rain picking up in intensity in Rancho Cucamonga, in the Chino Hills area, and same with Riverside. Now we're starting to see some stronger rain in the Santa Ana area, and then also Mission Viejo. So the bulk of the energy will take place this morning, so just be aware of that. Take your umbrella with you and your rain gear. Pretty much you're going to need it all day, because we're still going to see on again, off again showers even as we head toward the afternoon. Maybe not quite as steady as what we're seeing right now, but it's going to be there with us. So it's going to be a little bit more of the wet and cold type of day. So far, because we've had so much rain over the weekend as well, this month we've had more than ½ an inch of rain. We'll take it. So since we set the rain gauges back down to 0, meaning the start of rainy season, we've had just over 3 3/4 of an inch of rain. Normally, though, we should be over 6 inches. So we're still in need of a lot of that rain. Here's a quick look at our preliminary rainfall totals from the last 3 days. So over 3/4 of an inch for Long Beach. We hit right at 3/4 of an inch for Oxnard, under 3/4 of an inch for Woodland Hills, over ½ an inch for Whittier and LAX, and then under ½ an inch for downtown LA. So those are the numbers from up until this morning before the rain, the new system came in. So again, we're probably going to add much more to those numbers as we head toward the afternoon. So just know that the period of heavy rain will continue till noon, and then it's going to be on again, off again after that. We're probably seeing an additional 1 inch of rain for the coast and valleys, 2+ inches for the mountains and desert communities, about ½ an inch. Isolated thunderstorms. So when thunder roars, head indoors, because this system will tap into that unstable air. And then our snow levels are also expected to get down to about 6,000 feet by the time we head into later tonight. So here's a look at the futurecast. You can see just before the 9 a.m. hour, we're seeing most of that steady rain sitting just to the east of the region in Anaheim, in Pomona, San Bernardino, Moreno Valley. But we'll still see the showers coming down in Oxnard, Agoura Hills, and also downtown LA. Then just before the lunch hour, we start to see on again, off again showers. We'll continue to see that throughout much of the afternoon. And then by the evening, that evening commute will really affect the Inland Empire, because you can see that big cell still sits over this area before it slowly starts to exit out of the region. And then we're left with some drier, warmer conditions as we head into Tuesday. Back to you guys.
All right, Amber, thank you. I do have a couple sig alerts out there to tell you about. I want to take a look, though, at downtown. It is so rainy out there. You can see the drops on the lens. You can barely see traffic, though, but looks like it's moving in this area, although I am hearing about a pole down in lanes right now. This is on the 10 West, right at the 5 South Connector Road. So I'll keep an eye on that for you throughout the morning. But we do have 2 sig alerts to tell you about, possibly even 3. First one is on the southbound 57. This is in the Orange County area. It's right at Tonner Canyon. Getting reports of a crash here. The carpool lane will be blocked off for for the next 30 minutes. We still have that issue on the 91 as well. This is eastbound right at Lakeview, where the two fast track lanes and one of the main lanes will be blocked off for the next hour. And then we also still have that issue in the Inland Empire, where we have an incident on the 215, but it looks like it's in the clearing stages right now. So that's good news. Hopefully lanes will open up just shortly.
All right, 5:48 still to come. How much do Californians spend on groceries? You have an idea?
A lot.
A lot of money.
Especially with big families.
It's actually higher than you think. We're going to break down a new study that was just released.
And do you, Christopher, think you're a good driver?
I think so. I've never been in an accident.
I've never been in a car with you, so I can't tell. However, a new study reveals how Californians fare on the roadways compared to drivers in other states.
Knock on wood. Also, as we head to break, here's a look at some of your SoCal gas prices. Ventura County, $4.63. LA County, $4.56. Orange County, $4.46. And also Orange County, $4.40.
And opening bell just about 40 minutes away. We have a look at the numbers before markets open.
Years. The study authors say those who sit at work would need an additional 15 to 30 minutes of physical activity per day to make up the difference. A new study finds a way to cut down on high-risk drug combinations for patients in the intensive care unit is to tailor a computerized decision support system specifically for the ICU. Researchers in the Netherlands found by tailoring computerized alerts to the ICU environment, it not only reduced the number of high-risk drug combinations, it also reduced how long patients stayed in the ICU. And in a study of more than 1,600 patients diagnosed with low-risk prostate cancer, researchers at Wayne State University found 57% of them opted for active surveillance, which involves regular monitoring and avoids or delays surgery or radiation. Health guidelines recommend that approach because low-risk prostate cancer is unlikely to spread or impact survival. Those are some of the day's top health stories. Bradley Blackburn, Kcal News.
Grocery prices are high compared to previous years, but households pay more in certain states.
Yeah, so the Census Bureau's household pulse survey shows American families shell about $270 a week on groceries. The exact amount fluctuates with the number of people in a home, obviously, and it also depends on where people live.
So here in California, households pay the most at $297 a week. Nevada and Mississippi come in second and third.
Surprising Mississippi's on that list.
Yeah.
You would think that'd be a little cheaper there. All right, it's no secret LA is infamous for its terrible traffic.
Yeah, but we aren't the only city in the state with that problem. California now topping a new list of the worst states to drive in.
Ooh.
No surprise, according to Wallet Hub, this is of their best and worst places to drive. California was named the 5th worst state to drive in.
So we're not the worst.
Congratulations to
There you
us.
go.
We're stoked. Tell that to the people stuck in traffic in the next 5 minutes. But this whole thing weighed in traffic, cost, and danger. This won't come as a shock, though. Out of all the categories, California ranked worst in gas prices, coming in at 50th. And our next lowest rank is the share of rush hour traffic congestion, where we ranked 45th. The only categories where we ranked among the top half of the states were in auto maintenance cost and traffic fatality rates.
Huh. All right,
Interesting.
let's talk about Benito the giraffe. He's headed to a new home.
Not bad, Benny.
I know, right? He's headed to a new home after environmentalists campaigned to save him from the extreme temperatures at North Mexico's border in Juarez, which is near El Paso, Texas. The region, they face sweltering heat in the summer and freezing cold in the winter. So, with the help of the Animal Collective, Benito is headed to a new, better equipped facility in central Mexico. That region will feel a little bit more like home for him. So,
Hello, cutie.
safe travels, Benito. You got this.
Safe travels. Okay, the time right now is 5:55. Coming up on Kcal News Mornings at 6 and streaming on CBS News Los Angeles. We are on week 4 of 2024. So how are you doing on your New Year's resolutions? We're checking in just ahead. I got thumbs down in the studio.
Oh, no. Also, we've got more news in the morning after the break. Stay with us, everyone.
My past history with lawyers, man,
The sound of the rain. It is here and it's going to impact your morning. We're tracking the storm as a wet weather.
Evacuation warnings. Officials on high alert to keep you safe. We're breaking down the areas that could see the most impact.
And beware, the roads are very, very slick. I'm watching the morning commute coming up and your next traffic.
And we also have our reporters out in the field showing us the conditions. And assignment manager Mark Liu has the evacuation warnings. But first, meteorologist Amber Lee starts our in-depth storm coverage. Amber.
Oh, good morning and happy Monday. So we are dealing with the last and strongest storm system of the series of storms that we've seen all weekend long. So right now we are waking up to that rain coming down. 57 degrees. This is our now and later forecast for LA and Orange County. We're still going to see that rain lingering with us through the afternoon, but temperatures will remain below average, low 60s. But here's a look at where we're seeing some of the heaviest rain right now. So from Santa Clarita down into the downtown LA area, slowly working its way into Rancho Cucamonga, so it hasn't quite made its way into the Inland Empire, meaning the heavier rain that is. So we're looking at the South Bay being hit hard right now, and then we're also starting to see a little bit more of that rain working its way toward Irvine and also Anaheim. And then you can see for Thousand Oaks, we are starting to see the rain turn into a little bit more of the showery nature at the moment. And then we're also looking at that rain slowly pushing into Santa Ana, Foothill Ranch, and then slowly into Corona and also Riverside. So here's a quick look at our rain chances as we head into the next 12 hours. The bulk of it taking place now. But again, we're still going to see on again, off again showers throughout much of the afternoon. So how much rain are we expecting today? All the details coming up. Kalina.
All right, Amber, thank you. And as we head out the door and take a look at your traffic conditions this morning, we have a slow ride on the 5. This is at the City Drive in Orange, where we have wet conditions and also some really heavy volume. We do have the Sigler eastbound 91 right at Lakeview. It's the express lanes, 2 of them, along with the left lane that are blocked off. The backup is building in both directions, so the westbound side is slowing down to about 35 minutes. That's between the 15 and the 55. We also have a Sigler. It's a crash southbound 57 before Tonner Canyon. The carpool lane is blocked off. It should have been wrapped up already, but I'll keep an eye on it for you. And we do have this slowing on the 405 through the Sepulveda Pass this morning. You can see southbound traffic just bunching up. Also some flashing lights. We'll check in and see if there's an incident possibly, but right now just dealing with a lot of traffic. Now, Amber was just talking about this, that strong storm system making its way through the Southland.
Mud flow is a possibility in Duarte near the Fishburne Scar area. Kcal News reporter Cara Finstrom is there live to show us how the community is preparing. Cara.
Good morning. We're along Mill Canyon, and you can see behind us the rain's starting to come down a little bit better clip here. Some of the water rushing down the street. This is one of the areas beneath the burn scar that is of particular concern. So Public Works issued a mud flow alert. In particular, they're asking folks who live along the streets here just below the fish fire burn scar to stay alert. These temporary K-rails you see, they were put in place after the fire to divert mud flows from any heavy rains away from all these homes until that hillside can fully heal. And for now, city leaders say the area will stay at their green alert level. That means no restrictions, extra restrictions being put into place. And if we pan further around, you can see the elementary school here. As far as we know, that will be open today. As a matter of fact, it looked like some folks just headed inside to start getting things ready for the day. The big worry, though, is the potential for prolonged periods of heavy rain in some isolated areas. If any thunderstorms should develop up here in the foothills, and that's why officials say they will be closely monitoring that throughout the morning. But so far, so good here. We'll keep checking in with them, and we'll bring you updates throughout the morning. Back to you.
Cara, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Mud flow concerns have also prompted evacuation warnings as well. Let's get to our assignment desk manager, Mark Liu, joining us at the desk with more on this. Mark.
Yeah, good morning, Kalina. So these are areas we have seen go under evacuation warnings before due to rain events. It's parts of Topanga Canyon and just this morning, parts of Agua Dulce. Now, I want to show you some video that we shot with Kcal out in the Topanga area yesterday evening. This is video that was shot about 5:30 yesterday, 5:30 p.m. It's Topanga Canyon Boulevard near Santa Maria Road between Malibu and Calabasas. This is the evacuation warning area that popped up and went into effect 9 p.m. Sunday. It's going to stay in effect until Tuesday morning at 6. Officials are concerned about this area because the rain could trigger water and mud flows in these canyons, in part because this is near the Palisades burn scar. The Palisades fire ripped through this area in May of 2021. Now, this is just a warning, no evacuation order yet. This is just an alert to let people in this area know they need to be ready to leave if the order is given. Now, to give you a better idea of where this is, I'm going to bring you out to a map on my screen here. This is LA County, and this yellow area right here next to Topanga Canyon on the east side near Santa Maria Road. This is the area that officials are concerned about. This is where the evacuation warning has been in effect since 9 p.m. Sunday. Now, up here, this one also just popped up, one we've seen before, along the Santa Clara River in the Agua Dulce area. This goes along Soledad Canyon Road east of Agua Dulce Canyon. This one also an evacuation warning that is in effect until further notice. Now, these are just warnings. If they become evacuation orders, both of these areas will turn red to let people know that they need to leave immediately. I'll keep tracking this, let you know if anything changes. Until then, that's it from the desk. I'll send it back to you.
Okay, Mark, thank you. And our storm watch weather coverage continues at 6:30. We'll check in with Tina Patel along the coast. And remember, you can also check out all of our interactive radars and follow our 7-day next weather forecast or download our app.
It's clear to me that a majority of Republican primary voters want to give Donald Trump another chance.
Ron DeSantis is out. That leaves just two candidates vying for the Republican nomination for president. Former President Donald Trump, who holds a commanding lead, and Nikki Haley, who's been gaining ground. Tomorrow, New Hampshire will hold the nation's first primary.
Trump and Haley are crisscrossing the state while stepping up attacks on one another. Kcal News correspondent Penny Comet joins us live from Manchester with more on the primary there in New Hampshire. Penny, thanks for joining us. DeSantis is now out. It's now a two-person race. What does this mean for the remaining two candidates?
Yeah, it's now a head-to-head race here in New Hampshire. And I will say, for Trump, it really may not mean that much. People that are locked into Donald Trump are locked into Donald Trump. But for Nikki Haley, this is a significant win for her campaign. She's really hoping to get those DeSantis voters, people that do not want to vote for Donald Trump, but are obviously still going to vote for a Republican.
Well, you mentioned this earlier, Nikki Haley, of course, gaining ground. But what do voters need to see from her?
So Nikki Haley here is going to have to walk a very, very fine line. She needs to appear moderate enough to get those independent voters, maybe to even get some Democrats, but not too moderate that she ostracizes the Trump voters. If she wants to win, she is going to have to steal some voters from Donald Trump. So Nikki Haley is really going to have to walk that fine, fine line and figure out how to just perfectly appear to both sides of the Republican aisle.
And you mentioned independent voters. They can vote in New Hampshire primaries. So how are the candidates going to get this independent vote? What issues are important to independent voters?
Yes, that's something that is going to be really up for grabs here in New Hampshire, something that makes the Granite State a little unique. I will say that research has showed that people here in New Hampshire, they really like that interpersonal connection with their candidates, something that Nikki Haley has actually struggled with because most of her events are a little bit more scripted, where Donald Trump's are a little bit more off the cuff. So if either of those two want to get that independent vote, they're going to have to get out the next 24 hours, host lots of events, lots of campaigning.
Okay, Penny, thank you. We'll be watching. In other news, two men were killed in Long Beach after their car crashed and then veered off a bridge into 10 feet of water in a canal down below. Rescuers found the victims trapped in the car, submerged in the Los Cerritos Channel. One of them was pronounced dead at the scene. The other, a man in his 30s, was rushed to a nearby hospital and also later died. No word on what led up to the crash. A disturbing discovery in South LA. Police say two Spectrum workers found a decapitated body in an alley along 78th Street. Investigators say the head was later found underneath the corpse. The body was apparently decomposed. An investigation is now underway.
I'm Lori Perez in Monterey Park, where the community came together for a vigil marking 1 year since a mass shooting that took the lives of 11 people and left 9 others hurt.
Together, we are not just victims. We are a community of heroes that thrives from a brighter and safer future without gun violence.
1 year later, city leaders say they are honoring the memory of the victims by leading the charge on gun control.
And nearly 30,000 faculty members and other employees will walk off the job at all of Cal State's 23 campuses starting today. The faculty members want fewer hours and better pay. They're demanding 12% raises. A CSU spokesperson says meeting the salary request would result in painful cuts to the system.
All right, you're going to need your rain gear as you are heading out the door, but take a look at what's happening. So we are finally looking at some drier conditions for portions of Ventura County. So that includes Oxnard and Thousand Oaks, but that doesn't mean that the system is quite over just yet. But the bulk of the energy right now pushing its way through areas like the foothills and then also downtown LA, the South Bay, and then working its way into the Inland Empire and also into Orange County. So right now we are looking at that heavier rain coming down in those areas that you see in the yellows and a little bit of orange. I'm going to give today's bus stop forecast a B just because we're dealing with the rain and that's always a little bit tricky. And then we're looking at that rain kind of lingering with us throughout much of the afternoon. So Garden Grove, you're looking at temperatures staying in the upper 50s for the next few hours. And then by the afternoon after school, we'll have on again, off again showers of temperatures in the low 60s. Kalina.
All right, Amber, thank you. As we head out the door, I'll give our traffic conditions a C- because it is so busy out there and we have so many small incidents and most of them are just cars and drivers just losing control. So solar car crashes here. This is a look though at the 210 in Arcadia where you can see it's slow moving and lots of rain out there and wet conditions. Do you have reports of flooding? This is on the north and southbound side of the 10. This is right at Torrance Boulevard. It's in all lanes, both directions impacted. You can see that slowing heading to and from the 405. And then we also have a crash reported westbound 68 Garfield running a traffic break there with speeds down to 19 miles per hour. Another incident northbound 605 at Slauson, left lane blocked off there. And we still have this SIG alert eastbound 91 at Lakeview. Express lanes are blocked along with the left lane off limits. I'm focusing on the bigger incidents today that'll have the most impact to drivers. So just be careful as you head out the door.
That's a lot so early. Okay, the time right now, 6:10. Today marks 51 years since the Supreme Court legalized abortion in Roe v. Wade. Still, many Americans are fighting for that right. Find out what the president had to say on this historic day.
Plus, another day in court for actor Alec Baldwin in connection to the deadly Rush shooting. What's next in the case that gripped Hollywood?
And the winter blast hitting the country is becoming even more brutal, but there is some relief on the way for communities impacted by the wild weather. Welcome back to Kcal News Mornings at 6 and streaming on CBS News Los Angeles. Taking a live look out at the Santa Monica Pier. Another very wet start to your morning. It's 6:14 right now. More than 90 people have died across the country from a brutal winter blast. Dangerous weather continued over the weekend with freeze warnings extending across most regions, including the South. The good news is that a warm-up is on the way beginning today into later this week. Here in California, the storm is rolling through.
Yes, it is. And this morning, there's concern across the Sierra that the heavy rain could cause flooding. The latest storm is also expected to bring some snow to the Truckee area, and people there are just hoping to see the right amount of snowfall to keep traffic coming through.
There's been less snow for sure, but I mean, last year was 700 plus inches, so you can't compare it to last year.
Drivers have been dealing with a slow commute along the 80 freeway where snow has been causing bumper-to-bumper delays. And you guys have been hearing me talk about all the conditions here, the traffic conditions, which are just
getting started early today.
I know, and it's such a mess already. And Amber, you told me this last week. The second you said, hey, we're going to see rain, I prepared myself to be busy today.
Okay, good. Yeah, because that rain continues to linger with us. Some areas, though, are actually starting to see a little bit of the rain taper off, but really the bulk of the energy is still moving through for most areas here. But here's a look at that snow in the Sierras that you're talking about. This is the very same system that's bringing us all the rain here in Southern California. I'm going to zoom in and show you where we're seeing some drying at the moment. But again, we're still going to see on again, off again showers throughout much of the morning and afternoon. So Oxnard and Thousand Oaks getting a bit of a break at the moment. And you can see that we're slowly starting to see the rain taper off a little bit more instead of the heavy to moderate rain in other areas, but the Malibu area is starting to get some lighter showers. But La Crescenta, downtown LA, El Monte, South LA, Inglewood, Anaheim, Long Beach, all being hit pretty hard at the moment. And then all that rain is starting to pick up in intensity for the Rancho Cucamonga and Chino Hills area. Not quite over in the Riverside area just yet. It's raining there, but we're not seeing that strong rain that we're seeing everywhere else, where we're seeing the yellows and the oranges right now. Costa Mesa is starting to see the rain pick up as well. So right now, as I mentioned, this is where we're seeing most of the rain taking place this morning. And then you can see once we head into the rest of the day in the next 12 hours, we'll still see some on again, off again showers here and there as the system finally tries to pull out once we head into the overnight hours. So far this month, we've had more than half an inch of rain. And since the rainy season started on October 1st, we've had under 4 inches of rain, but we are still well in need of more rain because normally we should be over 6 inches of rain. So we still need to get every raindrop that we can. And this system is going to definitely help it because it is the last in the series of systems that we've seen all weekend, and it's the strongest. So we're going to continue to see the rain with us, the heavier rain, until about noon. Coast and valleys could see an additional 1 inch of rain. Mountains could see 2+ inches, and then our desert communities about half an inch of new rain. Isolated thunderstorms, so when thunder roars, head indoors. And then we're also looking at snow levels lowering down to about 6,000 feet by the time we head into later tonight. So the futurecast shows that we will continue to see a little bit more of that rain sitting over the region. And then by about 9:15, you can see a lot of the heavier showers become a little lighter in areas like Agora Hills, Santa Clarita, also downtown LA and the South Bay. But most of the heavier rain will continue to move into the Inland Empire because they're getting a little bit more of that delayed rain. You can already see how it's slowly moving east, and then they're going to continue to see the heavier rain throughout much of the morning. And then by the time we head into the lunch hour, this is where we see on again, off again showers. So it looks like a stronger rain cell should be moving into Santa Clarita by the lunch hour. And then by about 3:15, we're looking at maybe another stronger cell sitting over Anaheim. But later this evening, for the evening rush hour commute, it's the Inland Empire that's going to really start to feel that wet weather as the system slowly tries to leave our area. And then we're looking at drier conditions once we head into Tuesday. All right, extended outlook shows that we're looking at temperatures below average today, 62, warming closer to where we should be by tomorrow. And then finally, by the end of the week into this upcoming weekend, it'll be nice and comfy, temperatures in the 70s. Back to you, Kalina.
Can't wait for nice and comfy, Amber. Thank you. As we head out the door, we have rain, of course, out on the roadways. So that's creating the slick conditions. This is the 405 right at Santa Monica Boulevard, where you can see lots of volume. Here's a look at LA. So all of those little squares, those are all little incidents that have happened throughout the area. So I'm seeing a lot of crashes, drivers losing control, solo car incidents, stalled out cars. We also have flooding reported. This is southbound 405 right at Spring. This is in all lanes. So you'll see that back up through Long Beach this morning. Also flooding flooding reported on the north and southbound 110 right at Torrance, also in all lanes. And you can see how heavy that backup is north and southbound to the 405. We also have this crash westbound 60 at Garfield, running a traffic break here. That backup, though, is solid, leaving the 605. But normally I would say, hey, you could take the 10, but we also have really backed up conditions there as well. The time right now is 6:18. A brazen break-in caught on camera. Wait until you see what happened after thieves rammed a car into a local clothing store.
And no truce in the Middle East, the latest in the escalating tensions and how much longer the war could go on.
Is there something the Kcal News should investigate? Call the Kcal News Investigates tip line at 818-655-2442.
An end to the Israel-Hamas war is still likely months away as Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu rejected a peace deal. Hamas had called for Israeli forces to leave Gaza completely in exchange for the release of the 100 remaining hostages. Hamas would have remained in control of the territory. On Friday, a 17-year-old Palestinian American was killed in the West Bank by Israeli troops, and the conflict is spreading beyond Israel. The U.S. government says 2 American service members were hurt in an attack by Iran-backed militias at an airbase in Iraq. Israel has also launched airstrikes into Lebanon and Syria, killing members of Iran's Revolutionary Guard in Syria's capital of Damascus.
Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now!
Meantime, more than 100 pro-Palestinian demonstrators, including some Hollywood celebrities, took to the streets of Park City, Utah yesterday during the Sundance Film Festival, calling for a ceasefire in Gaza. Protesters on the town's busy Main Street said they were hoping to turn the spotlight of media attention toward the Israel-Hamas war.
Former President Donald Trump is expected in court today in a second defamation trial involving writer E. Jean Carroll. Trump was found liable for sexual abuse and defamation against Kcal last year in order to pay $5 million. But even after the verdict, Trump has continued to verbally attack Kcal in public statements and deny he ever sexually abused her. Kcal says she gets hundreds of threatening and hateful messages a day online and is now seeking more than $10 million in damages in this case. A verdict is expected to come sometime this week.
Today marks the 51st anniversary of the landmark Roe v. Wade decision. On January 22, 1973, the Supreme Court legalized abortion in the United States. But in June of 2022, the Supreme Court overturned Roe, ruling there was no constitutional right to abortion. Now, President Joe Biden is making reproductive rights a focal point of his re-election campaign. The president issued a statement today that reads in part, quote, "On this day and every day, Vice President Harris and I are fighting to protect women's reproductive freedom against Republican officials' dangerous, extreme, and out-of-touch agenda. We stand with the vast majority of Americans who support a woman's right to choose and continue to call on Congress to restore the protections of Roe in federal law once and for all."
Big layoffs on the way for several major companies. The parent company of Sports Illustrated is laying off a significant number of the iconic magazine staff, though the publisher says it will continue to put out content. The magazine was recently accused of publishing AI-generated stories with fake author bylines, but the company denies those claims. Online marketplace Wayfair is also laying off 13% of its employees, with its CEO saying the company expanded too quickly after COVID. And Macy's has plans to cut 2,300 jobs and close 5 store locations as it prepares to, quote, deploy a new strategy to meet the needs of an ever-changing consumer and marketplace.
The time right now, 6:25. We have live team coverage of the storm.
A very wet start to your Monday morning in Long Beach, and that's leading to some problems on the roads. You can see that we're on the 405 and it's pretty much a standstill. We'll have a live report coming up.
Plus, we are still months away from the 4th of July, but fireworks filled up the night sky. What we're learning about this late night show.
And it's quitting season. So how are you doing on your New Year's resolution?
Don't ask.
We're going to check in if you're staying motivated. Stay with us. You're watching Kcal News Mornings at 6.
Kcal News Mornings.
Good morning. Today is Monday, January 22nd. I'm Kalina Estrinos in for Marcy Gonzalez.
And I'm Rudy Shabazi. Here are the stories we're tracking this morning. A car engulfed in flames, and it happened during an illegal street takeover. We have the video straight from the desk.
Plus, first a crash, then a crowd of thieves tear apart a local business, and we have the stunning video.
And we're tracking the storm that's rolling through Southern California. We have everything you need to know as you head out the door.
And we are keeping a close eye on the roads. It was a wet one coming into work this morning, and the forecast, Amber, when is this gonna clear up? I know we had the brunt of it earlier. Is that still the case right now?
Yeah, we're still dealing with a lot of the heavier rain at the moment and moving into some parts of Southern California that didn't really see any rain earlier this morning, while other parts are starting to see some drier conditions. So yeah, we're still working our way through this system right now, and you can see it right here with our live radar. So most of the areas in the San Gabriel Valley, in the South Bay, also in Orange County, and then slowly but surely areas like the Inland Empire are starting to feel a lot more of that heavier rain. But we are starting to see some drier conditions in areas like Oxnard and Thousand Oaks. You can see it right here, because that's because the system is slowly moving off to the east. And so as we head into the afternoon, we're going to start to feel some changes, but associated with this system, we're also looking at those gustier conditions. So you can see how the winds are coming in from the southwest right now, pushing in. And then we're also looking at those winds picking up in areas like downtown LA and LAX, where we're seeing some more of the gustier conditions. And you can see it right here with our camera, really shaking around this camera in downtown LA, looking over the 10 freeway. So within the next couple of hours, we're still going to be left with the rain, and then it starts to lighten up. So by noon, you can probably start to see the rain turn into some light showers. And then by the afternoon, if you're getting that cabin fever and you want to take a walk outside of your office or outside of your house, probably the afternoon is the best bet, because that's when we start to see things slowly start to dry up in some spots. But other areas, we could still see isolated thunderstorms. I'll have more details on when this will fully be out of the area coming up a little bit later. Kalina.
All right, Amber, thank you. And I'm starting off right now in Orange County, where you can see one of our cameras here showing all of that rain. This matches your radar that you just showed us. It's right at the City Drive in Orange, where we're seeing lots of traffic, lots of volume here in both directions. Do you have a crash reported southbound 5 past State College? So this is before that camera you just saw. The backup here leaving Anaheim with the 2 lanes blocked off. That small little stretch from the 91 to the 57 will take you 33 minutes to get through. And we finally have some good news that Sigler canceled eastbound 91 at Lakeview. All lanes now open, but the westbound traffic continues. It's a 43-minute ride between the 15 and the 55. Please take it easy today. We also do have a traffic break reported northbound 55 past Ettinger. That's what's happening there. This is a look at the Cajon Pass, where it's really busy and also very slick. I'll have more on the Inland Empire coming up.
All right, thank you. And make sure to grab a coat and umbrella before heading out the door this morning.
I was happy I found mine this morning in my trunk. Kcal News reporter Tina Patel on the road heading to Long Beach, where there's been steady rain for hours. Tina, I'm glad you're inside the car this time.
I am, but unfortunately, a lot of people that are going to be heading out and getting in the car are going to have to deal with the conditions on the road in this weather. And unfortunately, we're already hearing of some accidents. We are in Long Beach on the 405 just past Cherry Avenue, and you can see that the road is just completely at a standstill. It looks like there's a crash just ahead of where we are. We're trying to get details on exactly how many vehicles might be affected and how many of the lanes are going to be closed. But right now you can see that really nothing is moving at all, and that's the problem with these roads being so slick. We always see these problems when it's coming during the morning commute. So definitely give yourself a lot of time no matter where you're driving this morning, because all of the roads are wet, and unfortunately we do have problems in those kinds of conditions. Now I also want to show you some video. We were in Santa Monica earlier this morning, and the rain has really been coming down just at a steady pace for the last few hours. There is a possibility of flooding. We didn't see any when we were there, but we just saw a lot of rain coming down, and it's been a while since we've had this kind of heavy rain. So again, you're going to have probably a little problems on the roads if you don't slow down, if you don't give everyone else a little bit of extra space around you. You're also going to just need to dress for this. Again, a lot of times we don't need to break out the hoodies and the umbrellas, but today, this morning, you're definitely going to need it. A little bit of wind, not too bad, so it's not too cold out there, but you're just going to need to be prepared for the wetness. As we come back here live, the one thing I do want to say is if you are along the coast, even if you're not going to the beach today, there have been warnings about the runoff that's going to be possible with this rain for the next few days. So even if you're not going today, just be careful around beaches by storm drains, especially for the next couple of days, because the storm is going to have a lot of runoff and it's just not going to be safe for you in the water for a little bit. That's the latest right now in Long Beach. We'll send it back to you.
Great advice, Tina. Thank you. We'll be checking in with you throughout the morning. Now from the coast to our foothills, there's also the potential for mud flows in Dwardy near the fish fire burn scar area.
Folks below the fish fire burn scar here in Dwardy on alert this morning. Take a look. This is an area that has had temporary K-rails in place for a while now. They were put up right after the fire to divert any mud flows from heavy rains away from these homes until that hillside can completely heal. For now, city leaders say this area will stay at their green alert level. That means no additional restrictions are put in place, but the big worry throughout the day will be the potential for prolonged periods of heavy rain in some isolated areas when thunderstorms develop.
Actor Alec Baldwin is expected in a downtown LA courtroom today for a motions hearing in connection to the deadly shooting at the Rust movie set. It's for the lawsuit filed by the family of the late cinematographer Helena Hutchins, which alleges negligence in the accidental shooting in New Mexico in 2021. On Friday, Baldwin was charged for the second time with involuntary manslaughter.
They took a bunch of just everything that we sell, basically.
A mob of thieves target a high-end clothing and sneaker store in Bellflower, stealing about $100,000 worth of merchandise. Security cameras show a stolen sedan smashing into the storefront early Sunday morning. Then a group wearing masks go inside and then ransack the small business. The suspects left the car behind. LA County Sheriff's Department now investigating. And this was a scene in downtown LA last night. Fireworks made it look more like 4th of July rather than late January. Witnesses say the fireworks went on for several minutes straight. We reached out to LAPD and also LA Fire for comment and are still working to find out more.
Firefighters responded to a car fire at a street takeover. Our assignment manager Mark Liu is at the desk with the video. Mark.
Yeah, Roadway. It looks like the fire department arrived at the streets takeover, but police never actually came. It could be because everyone was gone by the time firefighters had arrived, but there is some video that I want to show you. This was shot by someone at that street takeover. You can see that burning car in the middle of the intersection. This is right at San Pedro and Manchester in South LA at about 2:45 this morning. Now, this was a smaller street takeover as these events go, possibly only 2 or 3 cars here and only about 50 people. The Los Angeles City Fire did respond here for the report of an abandoned vehicle on fire in this intersection, and they were able to get the fire out with just one engine, no injuries. But when I called LAPD headquarters, since this was LAPD jurisdiction, they say they never even got a call for service here. It could be because everyone was gone by the time firefighters arrived, or simply because no one called 911 during the street takeover to report it. Either way, there were no arrests here. The intersection now open again. LAPD now investigating, looking at any video of this event. That is the very latest here from the desk. I'll send it back to you.
All right, Mark, thank you so much. Runners got an early head start in Pasadena for the Rose Bowl half marathon yesterday.
Nearly 14,000 people took part running the 13.1 mile course. The race took them all over the city before ending on the famous Rose Bowl football field, and the weekend's wet weather brought perfect conditions for the run.
Rain or shine, we're still going to run. We're ready. We started out around at 6:30. Perfect weather, chilly, but no sun, so this is running weather.
The event directly supports the McCourt Foundation, whose goal is to cure neurological diseases. The foundation's team raised more than $70,000 alone.
Rita Bay and Amber, will you do this with me next year?
I will go and cheer you on. I will be waiting with flowers and Gatorade for you. I'll definitely show up.
Is it a half marathon or full marathon?
Half marathon.
Maybe.
Okay.
Think about it. All right.
Optimistic.
But definitely not the best running weather right now. And that's because the rain is really coming down. And so we're actually looking at the rain kind of tapering off a little bit where we could see some drier spots. So if you do want to squeeze in some of your physical activity, just maybe walking around the block or walking your dog, maybe later on this afternoon where we're actually looking at just some scattered showers here and there. All right, so here's a look at the live radar. So you'll notice that we do have some drier conditions over Oxnard and Thousand Oaks as the system is slowly moving off to the east. But this is where we're seeing the bulk of the energy right now. The San Gabriel Valley, the Anaheim, Irvine area, and then working its way into the Inland Empire, where the Inland Empire under a flood advisory just because of how much rain we're seeing at the moment until about 9 a.m. this morning. Kalina.
Amber, thank you. And as we head out the door and take a look at traffic conditions this morning, we do have a look at the 210 in Arcadia. So you can see how wet it is out there. You can see the slowing starting to build. This is right around the Santa Anita exit. We do have flooding reported north and southbound sides of the 110 right at Torrance. This is in all lanes. Traffic right now is being diverted off of the freeway. So it's really impacting your ride as you try to get to and from the 405. You can also see the backup on the 405 in both directions as well. Getting reports of flooding southbound 405 right at Spring. This is in all lanes too. And this crash northbound 605 at Slauson. Carpool and 2 left lanes are blocked off. Speeds down to 6 miles per hour. And another one, 101 north at Silver Lake Boulevard. The right lane is off limits. We have so many accidents out there and drivers just losing control. Please be careful. Give yourself extra time and just slow down. The time right now is 6:39. Still to come, the popularity of last year's top blockbusters now bigger than the big screen. Will reveal a new scientific discovery taking after their joint success.
And a cutout of Taylor Swift decked out in Bills gear. Fans are going all out as the Bills face the Chiefs. Find out what else they had in store for Kelsey's biggest fan.
A cardboard cutout. Sass. Ooh, giving you a live look outside right now where you can see raindrops on the lens. The gloomy conditions still out there at 6:42 in the morning. Welcome to Kcal News Mornings at 6 o'clock and streaming on CBS News Los Angeles. Okay, if you're still sticking to your New Year's resolutions that you made about your health, you've almost made it over the biggest hump.
Almost.
Almost.
According to the new OnePoll survey, most people make it only 2 weeks before reaching for their favorite unhealthy food again. And people who made a resolution to work out more often fall off the bandwagon in a month into the new year. Researchers found we may be too strict with ourselves when it comes to making resolutions. For people wanting to change their eating habits, most opted for certain foods just to cut them out altogether, rather than focus on moderation. Experts say the easiest way to stick to your goals is to make them more achievable. And that's everyone we've had on for these New Year's resolution segments. They all say that. Make it measurable and make it smaller.
But sometimes you just want to go all in thinking you can achieve the impossible,
Right,
which
be
is
ambitious.
which is what I did. And then I had pancakes the first week, I had French fries yesterday. I totally fell off, but you know, you can always jump back
doesn't
on.
work. That's what I've
true.
learned from all of these experts. Deprivation doesn't work.
You're so right.
Yeah.
Okay, Taylor Swift facing some bad blood in Buffalo, New York last night when her boyfriend Travis Kelce and the Chiefs took on the Bills. Buffalo fans turned the world's most famous Chiefs fan into a Bills fan. Take a look. This is by decorating cardboard cutouts just like this one. Some other cutouts and posters of Swift were burned in dumpster fires. That's not very nice. I know. Just leave her alone. Leave her alone. But the hate from the Bills didn't seem to make much of a difference. Do you see that shirtless guy there? That was right behind Taylor. That's Travis Kelce's brother, Jason, who then went wild after Travis scored a touchdown. This is different video here. Fans, though, on both sides, they still ate all of Taylor Swift up. They had Taylor-themed food, including a karma quesadilla and Bad Blood waffle fries. And the Chiefs ended up winning 27-24. I was watching this game yesterday. I was so excited when he did the little heart up to the box where Taylor was at.
I was concerned we weren't going to be biggest this today.
You know what? I knew. That's why I made sure this was in there just for you.
Okay. Last year's biggest blockbuster event at the movie theater is now a supernova. Scientists have nicknamed this cosmic discovery the Barbenheimer star because it's an unlikely explosion made up of totally opposite chemical elements, just like the pop culture phenomenon that happened when Barbie and Oppenheimer movies were both released on the same day. Scientists say this star that blew up 13 years ago defies explanation because it was formed out of the elements left behind from a previous explosion, and most stars that size become black holes. I think this one's pretty cool. I like the name, it's clever.
Barbenheimer just taken over in a different galaxy far, far away.
It's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
I love it.
All right, Amber Lee, what's going on in the forecast and what do you, well, I mean, your map. It's just scary to look at.
Because I know your brain is thinking the traffic. So this is where we're seeing a lot of that mess right now. The good news, though, we're starting to see some breaks. So La Crescenta, you're actually looking at some drier conditions at the moment. We have some light showers going through Santa Clarita. Agoura Hills also getting a bit of a break. Same with Oxnard, but we're starting to see some light scattered showers pushing in. So the bulk of the energy is everything that you see in yellow and orange. So it's really hitting areas like Pomona, also up over the mountains and our high desert communities. San Bernardino and Riverside starting to see the rain pick up in intensity. Anaheim starting to see that heavier rain. Same with Irvine. And then the South Bay starting to get a little bit of a break. We're still seeing on again, off again, heavier showers, but it's not quite as heavy as what we saw about an hour ago. Costa Mesa now starting to see some stronger rain also pick up. Same with Mission Viejo. So basically this morning is when we're seeing the heaviest of the rain. And you can see once we head into the latter part of the morning, it's still there with us, but it gets a little better. So our weather starts to improve a little bit more, but we're still seeing on again, off again scattered showers throughout much of the afternoon. So far, this is probably the strongest and last storm of the series that we've seen all weekend. So downtown LA, you've already seen more than half an inch of rain just from the last couple of days. So this doesn't count for what we're seeing right now. This number will go up as we head into the end of the day. Since the rain gauges were set to zero, meaning the rainy season started this season, we've had just under 4 inches of rain. Normally we should be over 6 inches. So we are still behind. We still need more rain. And today we're going to get a little bit more. So the next 12 hours, you can see by the afternoon, that's when we start to dry up just a little bit more. We'll see mostly cloudy skies, and we're looking at that break from all of that wet weather. So the futurecast shows that we're basically looking at more of that rain kind of lingering with us until later this morning, especially for Pomona, San Bernardino, and also the Moreno Valley. But we'll see some on again, off again showers everywhere else. And then just before the lunch hour, this is where we start to see a little bit more of that dryness. So this is probably the time when you want to peek your head outside, take that little walk outside of your office building or outside of your house, give your pets a little bit of that walk as well. But then we'll start to see some on again, off again showers moving into Agoura Hills later on this afternoon, and then also in the Pomona, San Bernardino area. And then the evening rush hour commute will really be centered over the Inland Empire as the system is slowly trying to pull out of here. And then we get a little bit of that break, the dryness as we head into the overnight hours. We could still see some wraparound moisture tomorrow morning, but we're drying out. So far, we've seen under 3 inches of rain for the Santiago Peak area in Orange County, Costa de Caza over 1.25 inches, over 1 inch for Murrieta, under 1 inch for Anaheim Hills, and Rialto under 1 inch and over 1/2 inch for Garden Grove. So this is just from the last few days. The valleys, you're looking at temperatures today below average, slowly warming up. It's the end of the week into the weekend where we're looking at some really nice conditions as the system will definitely be out of here by then. And we're looking at temperatures warming right back up into the 70s. Back to you.
All right, Amber, thank you. And as we head out the door, we are taking a look at your traffic conditions, specifically right now on the 15 through the Go Home Pass, where it is really, really slow. We got lots of volume out there this morning. The commute time at 42 minutes, so the travel time actually isn't as bad as it could be, but we're still seeing extra delays out here in the southbound direction. The rest of the Inland Empire, we do have an incident on the 91. This is westbound right at Green River. The left lane is blocked off, and that backup is about 45 minutes leaving Corona as you head out toward the 55 in Orange County. And here's a look at LA. All of those squares means there's some type of incident happening. So we got one on the 10 westbound approaching the 710. We have another one on the 60 west approaching the 710 as well. Another on the 405 right at the 10. I'll have more in LA coming up.
All right, Kalina, thank you. The time right now, 6:48. It seems like we pay a lot more for everything in the Golden State, but how about those grocery bills? Next, we'll show you where we stack up against the rest of the nation.
And stick with us. We'll be right back with a look ahead at more stories and an update on the wet weather.
After an accident, you're confused. Your mind is racing with all the things you need to worry about. And God
Welcome back. It's 6:51 right now, taking a live look out over a very soggy LAX this morning. It's rainy out there. Grab your umbrella on the way out. A live look at the numbers on Wall Street today. The Dow is up about 166 points right now. Wall Street had a record closing Friday, buoyed by tech industry stocks. The Dow shot up 395 points. The Nasdaq soared 225 points, and the S&P 500 jumped 58 points.
The National Association of Realtors says home sales plunged more than 18% in 2023 compared to the previous year. That's the biggest decline since the housing slump of the late 2000s. Economists blame a shortage of homes for sale, I should say. Prices soared to an average record high of $389,000 in 2023, with 30-year mortgage rates topping at nearly 8%.
If your grocery budget seems out of control lately, we have some news that's tough to hear. Your mind is not deceiving you. It turns out we actually do pay the highest grocery prices in the entire nation. Census data shows we spend an average of $297 a week, while the national average is about $270. The lowest weekly bills are in North Carolina, New York, and Illinois.
That is a lot of money. Okay, we want to go back out live to LAX, where like we mentioned earlier, we got lots of traffic. It's wet out there too, but we now know that there are 42 cancellations and 63 delays at the airport. So if you're flying out of LAX or heading there, make sure you check your flight status. And also, of course, like we've been mentioning all morning, allow for more time for traffic because it is going to get congested.
And there is more news just moments away on Kcal News Mornings at 7 on Channel 9.
We have a fascinating interview that you want to watch. The personal photographer for Lenny Kravitz and Dave Chappelle.
There's still moments like, you know, I'll be standing somewhere with somebody that I greatly admire, and I'm just like, it's got to be like a glitch in the matrix that I'm the one who's here right now.
We'll take you on his journey and show you what he's seen through his lens. That is coming up on this week's Java with Jamie.
And they were once popular baby names, but they might be going extinct this year. Is your child's name on the list?
And it's time for our series Class Act. Our very own Jasmine Veal joining us live right now to show us around Elliott Arts Magnet School. How did you get those kids up so early?
I don't know. That's what I've been asking them. Good morning, you guys. We are here at Elliott Arts Magnet Middle School. Class Act. We're back, and these kids are so excited. We have the cheer team. We have ASB here. We're going to show you French class. We're going to show you the band theater. This is a pretty awesome middle school. And before we leave, they are ready to wake you up with a cheer. Take it away, ladies. Attention. 5, 6, 7, 8. H-O-T-T-O-T-O. Elliott Huskies are hot to go. Who say what? Hot to go.
Hey.
Who say what? Hot to go. They taught me. I love it.
H-O-T-T-O-T-O. Jasmine, thank you. It's feeling so, like a Monday morning, and now I feel like
That's
we
a
have
good way
the
to wake
extra
up.
energy. We needed that.
Yes.
Jasmine, thank you. Okay, CBS Mornings is coming up at the top of the hour on CBS Los Angeles.
Tony DeCopo joins us live from Manchester, New Hampshire. Tony, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Ruta Bay. Good morning, Kalina. Coming up on CBS Mornings, we are one day away from the first in the nation presidential primary here in New Hampshire. I'm in Manchester, and we've got team coverage. It's a big story here in a small state. We're going to talk about Ron DeSantis dropping out of the race, what that means for the people remaining in the race. He looks very happy in that concession video. Also, I talked to voters about the issues that matter most to them. They generally are not happy, not feeling too hot about things. And then beyond politics, we got Anthony Mason going for a drive with a rising country music star. Her name is Brittany Spencer. She tells him how cruising through Nashville helped create her debut album. And finally, sports, football, NFL playoffs. We got 4 teams left. Nate and James Brown break down the epic weekend that was and what lies ahead as we get closer to Super Bowl 58 right here at the only station that matters at our hearts, CBS. That's at 7.
And it's exciting. The Super Bowl is exciting, of course. Also exciting that you're there in New Hampshire. I know when you were in Iowa last week, a lot of voters were concerned about the border. What are voters telling you are their main focal point issues in New Hampshire?
Yeah, so people are really bummed out about the economy here in New Hampshire, even if the overall big picture numbers are going in the right direction. And even if people's own personal experiences in general are going okay, there's a lot of gloom. And one of the reasons is food prices, for example, generally going up. And we talked to a bunch of people outside of a grocery store in Derry, New Hampshire. We couldn't find anybody feeling good about the economy. And that's just human nature. Psychologically, you go into a store, if you're paying more for items that you get every week, that really sticks with you. It really annoys you. It gets you down. People were upset about it. And so are they making it? Yeah, they're making it. But are they bothered by the fact that frozen OJ has gone up double digits and that steak on Friday is up double digits? Absolutely. And that's really driving people's perspective on things. And could lift Donald Trump, actually, in this primary. Nikki Haley, though, trying to make a race of it.
It is interesting to hear from everyone beforehand. Tony, thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye. We're giving you 2 options as we head into the next hour as well. So on CBS Los Angeles Channel 2, Tony and the rest of the CBS Mornings team will start at 7 o'clock.
Or you can turn it over to Kcal News Channel 9, where we are kicking off another 4 hours of local news. Stay with us all morning long. The news continues right after the break.
Disneyland Forward, a public planning process for new possibilities at Disney.
Now at 7, rain is drenching Southern California this morning, and it's not stopping anytime soon. What's being done to make sure your community is safe as we look at the possibility of thunderstorms? Plan on giving yourself some extra time to head into work this morning because the rain is causing delays and dangerous driving conditions. And we're also bracing for more possible mud flows. This morning, some communities are being warned, prepare to leave home at any moment.
This is Kcal News Mornings.
And good morning. Today is Monday, January 22nd. I'm Roadway Shabazi.
Yeah, good morning. I'm Chris Holmstrom in for Jamie Yukas. Thanks for waking up us here on Kcal News Mornings. All right, and then there were two. It is officially a two-person race for the Republican presidential nomination. We'll show you how former President Donald Trump and Nikki Haley are getting ready for their face-off in New Hampshire.
And you might not know the name Matthew Batone, but chances are you've seen his work. We'll introduce you to the celebrity photographer who proves that dreams really can come true.
All right, but first, if you didn't notice, it is rainy out there. We've got live storm coverage, team coverage. Our reporters are out braving the elements. Summit Manager Mark Liu has the evacuation warners. Kalina tracking the roads, but let's start with meteorologist Paul Diano. Paul, we're off to a wet start.
Chris Rutabay, yeah, we are. And the heaviest rainfall has shifted to the western half of our viewing area, now to the eastern half, since Amber gave you the forecast about 2 hours ago. So the bullseye right now will be the Inland Empire for the next hour or so, with widespread, steady, soaking rainfall. Los Angeles County, it is still raining in and around downtown Los Angeles, Culver City, Santa Monica, east to Alhambra, but the rain is not as intense as it was an hour ago. Still pouring in Orange County, especially along the 55 and the 405 in and out of Santa Ana and Irvine. So a very soggy commute. Likely for the entire winter because of the timing and the widespread nature of this rain. This likely will be one of our wettest commutes that we have all winter long. Soggy morning, still showery in the afternoon, even after the front moves through. And the pattern's going to flip. We may be pushing 80 by the end of this week, but certainly not today. Look at the rain chances, though. 8 o'clock still very high in Orange County. 9 o'clock still very high. Once the front moves through, we switch over to shower mode, and that may happen as early as 10 o'clock. So from now to 10 is the worst of this storm when it comes to rainfall today. Not that warm, low 60s, morning rain, showers, even the chance of a thunderstorm this afternoon, 10 or 20% chance, and highs only in the low 60s. Of course, when you have this much rain, you have a mess on the roads. Here's Kalina with an update. Good morning.
It's officially an understatement for today. We have flooding right now on the 110, also on the 405. We have our photographer Sparkle in a vehicle with Tina Patel. We'll hear from them in just a second. They just pulled up to one of the incidents on the 405. But starting off with this one, the north and southbound sides of the 110 right at Torrance, we have all lanes blocked off, and that is because of flooding. So you can see that black patch there with all of the delays in both directions here. That's as you approach the 405. We also have reports of flooding. This is the one that hopefully we'll get an update on in just a second. But southbound 405 past Cherry, flooding reported in all lanes as well. That backup there leaving the 710. We also do have a crash reported southbound 5 at Sunland. It's the right lane and the off ramp that's blocked off. And this is a look at the Sepulveda Pass. You can see how wet it is out there this morning, and the conditions are so slow. So far, we only have a couple incidents along the 405, but you can see all the little squares here in LA, Orange County, and the Inland Empire. Those are all the little crashes that we have going on. We have a couple crashes, we have stalled cars, we have drivers losing control, and I'll have more on this crash on the 91 at Green River coming up. Chris, back to you.
All right, Kalina, thank you so much. So the foothills and mountains are expected to bear the brunt of the storm system that's hitting us right now.
The mud flow warning, it was also issued for Duarte's Fish Fire Burn Scar area. Kcal News reporter Cara Finstrom is there live to show us how that area is preparing. Cara.
Good morning. We did get some heavier rain here during the last hour, but here's the good sign. The runoff that we're getting from the hillsides here is still clear running down Mill Canyon Road. Public Works did issue a mud flow alert for this area, which essentially means they want folks who live along the streets here to stay alert and to really monitor this storm system. Let's give you a closer look. Earlier this morning, we drove up along this road. These temporary K-rails you see, they were put in place after the fish fire back in June of 22. The goal is to divert any of that muddy mess that might come down from the scarred hillsides. These barriers are going to stay in place until the hillside can completely heal with new brush and vegetation up there. City leaders say this area is in a green alert level right now, and that means no restrictions have been put in place. Again, mainly this is a warning to stay alert. All right, now to the rain. Take a look at this. We have been seeing it here since we arrived on the 3 o'clock hour this morning. Pretty steady throughout the morning, so great for all those lawns, but relatively light, so hopefully easy on that hillside. The big worry is the potential for some prolonged periods of heavy rain, especially if thunderstorms develop. So area leaders will be keeping watch throughout the day, and back here live, we will be keeping watch as well. We'll bring you any changes if we hear of them. Back to you.
Thank you. And the rain is causing a headache for drivers already. Our photographer Sparkle Day and reporter Tina Patel have spent more than an hour stuck in traffic in Long Beach. So Tina, where are you right now?
So we are on the southbound 405, just past the Cherry exit, and we can finally see why we were stuck in so much traffic. If you look ahead, you can see that the road is actually completely flooded. Now, it looks like they finally got one lane. The HOV lane is open. So cars are slowly being diverted to that lane, and they're getting around this. But from what we can tell, on the other side of this underpass, there are several Caltrans workers that are up to their knees, maybe one even looking like he's close to his waist in water, trying to get this roadway back open. They're trying to, I think, clear the flooding. It's been about 2 hours at this point where there's been reports of flooding. At one point, it sounded like there was several cars that were actually stuck in the flooded roadway. We don't see any cars stuck right now, but again, a lot of water, and they're very slowly getting cars through, but it's a very big backup. So if you don't need to come on this part of the 405 in Long Beach, find an alternate route, because otherwise it's going to take you a long time to get through this. Now, the rain is actually not that heavy right now, but it has been coming down all morning. We were in Santa Monica earlier this morning, and it was just really a heavy, kind of steady downpour, which we have not had in a long time. There are a lot of areas, both surface streets and freeways, where unfortunately that leads to flooding. So that's why we want to warn you as you're heading out this morning to dress appropriately for the rain, and then just give yourself a lot of extra time, because it's really hard to know exactly where areas might be flooded. And again, even if it's not flooded, it's definitely going to be slick on the roads. So hopefully the rain is not going to last too long, but again, you just want to be careful, slow down, give all the cars around you a little bit of extra room. And if you hear about flooded areas like this, best to just stay away until it can get cleared up. We'll send it back to you.
Tina, thank you. Kalina's been telling us about so many traffic issues out there. We appreciate it.
Also, mud flow concerns have prompted evacuation warnings. Our assignment manager, Mark Liu, he's at the desk with the details. Mark, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Chris. So these are areas we have seen go under evacuation warnings before during rain events. It's parts of Topanga Canyon and just this morning parts of Agua Dulce. Now, yesterday we flew Kcal over one of these areas to get a look at it. Let me show you. This is video from Kcal at about 5:30 p.m. yesterday. It's Topanga Canyon Boulevard near Santa Maria Road. This is about halfway between Malibu and Calabasas. This is an evacuation warning area. It popped up and went into effect 9 p.m. Sunday. It's going to stay in effect until Tuesday morning at 6 a.m. Officials are concerned about this area because the rain could trigger water and mud flows here, in part because this is near the Palisades burn scar. The Palisades fire ripped through this area in May of 2021. Now, again, this is just a warning, no evacuation order yet. This is just an alert to let people in this area know they need to be ready to leave if the order is given, the rainfall increases and mud flows begin. Let me show you on my map where this is. If you come out to my screen, here is LA County. This little yellow area here on the east side of Topanga Canyon near Santa Maria Road. This is the area we were just looking at with that video from Kcal. So this evacuation warning is in effect. And then there's another one up here in the Agua Dulce area along the Santa Clara River. This one is basically east of Soledad Canyon Road and Agua Dulce Canyon Road. Also a concern about mud and debris flow in the area. Now, I checked the other 5 counties, Ventura, Orange, San Bernardino, and Riverside. They do not have any evacuation warnings yet. If any of these evacuation warnings turn into orders, I will definitely let you know. I'm keeping tabs on this. Until then, that's it from the desk. I'll send it back to you.
All right, Mark, thank you so much. Well, it's officially a two-person race for the GOP presidential nomination after Florida Governor Ron DeSantis suspended his campaign.
Former President Donald Trump and former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley are going head-to-head in the New Hampshire primary tomorrow. Kcal News correspondent Penny Comet joins us live from Manchester with more on the primary. Penny, thanks for coming back. Does DeSantis dropping out mean anything to the candidates per se?
Well, it depends on who you ask, right? For Donald Trump, probably doesn't mean that much. Voters that are locked into Trump, they are locked in. But for Nikki Haley, totally different story. She's really looking to get those anti-Trump Republicans who want an option that is not Donald Trump. So Ron DeSantis dropping out, huge win for Nikki Haley. Hopefully she can get those voters and then get closer to potentially beating former President Trump.
Yeah, Penny, you know, if Nikki Haley actually can't beat Trump in New Hampshire, it's going to be a tight race for them. She might not be able to beat him anywhere else. So, you know, people are asking, can he be stopped?
I mean, New Hampshire is really a telltale sign of who's going to get that Republican presidential nomination. To put it into perspective, the last time a Republican did not win New Hampshire and still became the nominee was back in 2000, so over 20 years ago. So it's hard to say if Trump can be stopped or not, but the New Hampshire primary is a really, really good sign of what the future is going to hold.
You know, turnout is another issue, right? Especially when it comes to those independent voters and maybe some Democrats. We know Iowa had a really low turnout because of the weather. What is New Hampshire expected to be like, especially with all the crazy weather that's happening on the East Coast there, too?
Totally. It is, of course, very cold in New Hampshire. No surprise there. But regardless of the weather, Republicans just aren't very eager this election cycle. We've spoken with some political science professors at the University of New Hampshire who say the Republican excitement is just not there for this race, but some data from the New Hampshire Secretary of State does tell us that they are expecting about a 35% voter turnout. So not fantastic, but also not awful. And again, in New Hampshire, kind of rare for most states is independent voters can vote in the primary and they can vote for people on either side of the aisle. So that independent vote going to hold a lot of weight here in the Granite State.
Yeah, it really will, you know, and just to let you know, there are fewer than 1.5 million people in New Hampshire, and voters there, they really take their role seriously as the first primary state. So remind us, Penny, what comes after the New Hampshire primary?
So, I mean, really, these two campaigns are just going to have to keep going and going and going. What we found, research has shown, is that people are starting to really enjoy that interpersonal connection with their candidates. So that's where Nikki Haley actually struggles a little bit because her events are a little bit more scripted, where Donald Trump's are a little bit more off the cuff. So I think Nikki Haley, if she wants to be successful, is going to have to connect a little bit more with the voters. But again, she's really going to be after that anti-Trump but still Republican vote in the coming months.
Okay, Penny, thank you. An end to the Israel-Hamas war is likely still months away as Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu rejected a peace deal. Hamas had called for Israeli forces to leave Gaza completely in exchange for the release of 100 remaining hostages. Hamas would have remained in control of the territory. On Friday, a 17-year-old Palestinian American was killed in the West Bank by Israeli troops, and the conflict is spreading now beyond Israel. The U.S. government says 2 American service members were hurt in an attack by Iran-backed militants at an airbase in Iraq. Israel has also launched airstrikes into Lebanon and Syria, killing members of Iran's Revolutionary Guard in Syria's capital of Damascus.
Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now!
And more than 100 pro-Palestinian demonstrators, including some Hollywood celebrities, took over the streets of Park City, Utah yesterday. This is during the Sundance Film Festival, calling for a ceasefire in Gaza. Protesters on the town's busy main street said they were hoping to turn the spotlight of media attention toward the Israel-Hamas war.
You know, as everyone here is appreciator of art or creator of art, Sundance is possibly the most renowned platform of where art is being showcased and celebrated. And I think it's very important that we protest here, and that I do my minimal part to be a part of this greater organization, this greater amount of people.
And the death toll in Gaza has surpassed 25,000 since the start of the war, according to the Hamas Health Ministry.
Former President Trump is expected in court today in a second defamation trial involving writer E. Jean Carroll. Trump was found liable for sexual abuse and defamation against Carroll last year and ordered to pay $5 million. But even after the verdict, he has continued to verbally attack Carroll in public statements and deny that he ever abused her. Carroll says she gets hundreds of threatening and hateful messages a day online, and she is now seeking more than $10 million in damages in this case. A verdict is expected sometime this week.
The Monterey Park community came together for a vigil marking 1 year since the deadly mass shootings. All 11 victims.
Let's honor Bai Nan, Xu Junyu, Hong Jian, Xia Yao, Yan Yu.
And all 11 of those victims killed at the Star Ballroom Dance Studio 1 year ago were honored last night. Locals are still grieving, but they came together in service with music and prayers. The candlelight vigil also served as a call to action to curb gun violence. A disturbing discovery in South LA. Police say 2 Spectrum workers found a decapacitated body in an alley along 78th Street. Investigators say the head was later found underneath the corpse. An investigation is now underway. Today marks the 51st anniversary of the landmark Roe v. Wade decision. On January 22, 1973, the Supreme Court legalized abortion in the United States. But in June 2022, the Supreme Court overturned Roe, ruling there was no constitutional rights to abortion. And nearly 30,000 faculty members and other employees will walk off the job at all of Cal State's 23 campuses. It's all starting today, and the faculty members, they want fewer hours and more pay. They're demanding 12% raises, and a CSU spokesperson says meeting the salary request would result in painful cuts to the system.
The storm is rolling through Southern California. Meteorologist Paul Diano joins us now with a look at our next weather forecast, and it is not pleasant out there.
It is very unwise to drive fast this morning, although you probably won't have the opportunity because it's so wet out there and the roads are so slow. Street highway flooding is likely right now all of the Inland Empire, all of Orange County, and much of Metro LA County. This expires at 9 o'clock. The heaviest rainfall of the day is moving through right now and will be around until about 9 or 10 o'clock. So an urban flood advisory is in effect. Bullseye right now, by far, is the Inland Empire. Look at the steady soaking rain around Riverside, around San Bernardino, Rancho Cucamonga, Fontana. It's just a mess out there right now with heavy rainfall. The heavy rain is moving through but not gone in Orange County just yet. Still some heavier showers around Lakewood and Long Beach in southeastern LA County. In and around downtown Los Angeles, it is still raining, just not raining as heavily. Light to moderate rain for Arcadia, Pasadena, and also Glendale. Areas to the west, including eastern Ventura County, you're not done with the rain yet. But this wave of heavy rain has moved through and has now left you. You had some heavy rain about 2 hours ago. How much rain are we talking? Orange, you've had about a inch and a half of rainfall in total. This is since Saturday. Alhambra and Oxnard and Chatsworth, more than an inch of rainfall. Yucaipa, about 3/4 of an inch. Santa Clarita, a little bit more than half of an inch. I want to fast forward to the upcoming weekend because it's going to be so much different from the weekend we just had. This is Los Angeles. Saturday and Sunday, mid to upper 70s. With full sunshine. Certainly we've got a pattern change coming. That does not help you today. Riverside, 55 degrees with rain. Rain also in Santa Monica in the background. Lots of 50s out there. It's mild, relatively speaking, because of the clouds and rain. San Bernardino, 54. Temecula, 54. And 54 also in Simi Valley. The next 4 hours in downtown Los Angeles. Look at the rain coverage drop at 10 o'clock. So it's between now and 10 when things will be super wet almost everywhere. Then we turn over to shower mode, where we are going to get some scattered downpours, maybe even an isolated thunderstorm with the jet stream racing right over Southern California. But the widespread heavy rainfall will wrap up by 10 o'clock. That jet stream is moving right over Southern California. That gives extra kick to the atmosphere. So I want to show you what's going to happen this afternoon. First, what's happening this morning. Inland Empire, 8 o'clock. It's still pouring. Orange County, it's still pouring there. Now we fast forward to 1:30, where it's not raining everywhere. There could even be some sunshine, but there will be scattered downpours, and there will be an isolated thunderstorm risk into the afternoon, about a 20% coverage on the rain. But where it rains, it is going to pour this afternoon. Rain chance still sticking around 7:30 tonight. The rain is done during the overnight hours tomorrow morning. We wake up to clouds, but no rainfall, just kind of generic morning clouds, afternoon sunshine. Long range, I already gave you a sneak peek of that. The entire West Coast will be warm for January, from Seattle all the way south to San Diego. So much sunnier, much warmer at the end of the extended forecast. But today, this is the soggy day. It is wet outside this morning, scattered showers and downpours this afternoon. It is also a mess on the roads this morning. Here's Kalina with an update.
Hi, good morning, Paul. So it is a mess out there. We have so many incidents to tell you about this morning. So I want to start off with the biggest one. We have flooding right now in the north and southbound 110. This is right at the Torrance Boulevard exit. This is in all lanes. Traffic is being diverted off of the freeway, but you can still see how slow it is out there this morning. So I want you to take your alternate routes. Vermont Avenue is an option, Main Street, Western Avenue, or the 710. You can see the 710 right here. Just really depends on where you're going. This is a look at LA, and I've been mentioning this all morning, how we have so many incidents. You can't even count how many there are, but it continues to go all the way down. Orange County, also several incidents as well. It's just a mess out there. We do have a SIG alert reported on the 5 in Orange County. This is just north of Lake Forest, where we have the carpool, the left lane, and also 2 right lanes blocked off. This camera froze on me, but we also had an incident earlier on the 91. This is what it looks like right at Green River, where you can see cars are trying to get in the roadway this morning, but it's so slick and it's so congested. I do want to go back out to my map this morning because I have more to tell you about when it comes to the conditions that we have. This is where you saw Tina and Sparkle. We also have a SIG alert here, also because of flooding. So southbound 405 past Cherry, only the carpool lane is open. All other lanes are blocked off. So that backup building just before the 710. We have northbound traffic through Long Beach as well. And then we have more flooding 10 west at the 710 southbound. All lanes here. That is a backup from before the 605. Looks like the 60 is a little bit lighter, but you guys just please take it easy as you head out the door. Give yourself plenty of time because we have so much going on the roadways. Back to you guys.
It's a mess out there, Kalina. Thank you. 7:20 right now. Do you use the self-checkout at the grocery store?
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
I don't.
You don't?
If the
Okay.
answer is yes, though, Chris, it may be having an unexpected impact. We're going to explain what it says about you, Chris.
Are you going to read me today? Also, after spending his childhood in Paris, Matthew Baton moved here to LA, and he sat down with our Jamie Yukis for a cup of Java and explained how his creativity led him to photograph some of the biggest celebrities.
And with the new year comes a new list of popular baby names, which means some are going out of style. See if your kid's name is losing popularity.
Disneyland Forward, a public planning process for new
All right, back to that question. Having a speedier checkout option at the grocery store can really make or break your experience.
And it's not the way you think. According to a new study by Drexel University, stores with self-checkout stations have worse customer loyalty than stores that only have traditional checkout systems. And the likelihood of a self-checkout customer returning to the store went down as the number of items in their carts went up. Researchers found the extra effort it takes for customers to scan and bag their own items often wipes out any perceived benefits from taking the quicker route.
I believe it. You don't go to self-checkouts, right?
No, I will wait in the line to deal with a human instead.
Okay, see, I like efficiency, so I want to get it done. But when it comes to me, I just go whatever's close.
It just, like, I like giving humans jobs, and I also,
Well, that too, yeah.
I also hate when companies just put all the work, they delegate all the work onto the customers.
Right.
So just out of principle, I
There
go
you
to the
go.
person.
Now I sound like a bad person.
No.
Way to go. Thanks. No,
I
I'm
get the
kidding.
efficiency argument.
No, efficiency for sure. All right, so let's talk about an extinction alert. Out for 2024, the endangered list is made up of baby names that are pretty common among Generation Z. Okay, so Baby Center has been keeping a list of the top names for the new babies for the last 20 years, and it says 2024 is seeing a big drop in popular millennial names as well. So some of the names that are being dropped include Brooke, Angela, Diana. Yeah, names that are commonly a last name are mostly out as well, like Sawyer and Reed. But the top 10 names that have seen the biggest drops: Brooklyn, Blake, Reagan, Charlie, Finley, Amanda, Jaden, Aria, Gracelyn, and Michelle. And
I think I know babies by all of those names except Graceland.
Oh, really? Babies?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. They must be.
Or kids.
Are they older or are they more Generation Z?
Well, they're babies.
Or their parents?
The parents. The parents are like millennials,
Okay,
maybe.
so they're still with the millennials.
Yeah.
What about rutabaga? Did you ever find like your name anywhere?
I have met two others.
Two others?
Two others.
That's a pretty name.
Yeah,
I like
thank
it.
you.
Very unique. All right, Mick Jagger.
My past history with lawyers, man.
This is Kcal News Mornings.
Rise and shine, everyone. It is Monday, January 22nd. I'm Chris Holmstrom in for Jamie Yukas.
I'm Rudabe Shabazi. We have a lot going on here on Kcal News Mornings on this Monday. Don't leave your house without an umbrella. The rain is really coming down. How long this wet weather will last?
It's like 10, 11 years of my life going back to Paris, and every time I go.
And celebrity photographer Matthew Batone wants to take you back to his Paris roots and his new exhibit. We've got his fascinating story coming up.
And it's time for our series Class Act. Our Jasmine Beal is joining us live to show us around Elliott Arts Magnet. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, you guys. I am here at Elliott Arts Magnet, right on Lake Avenue in Altadena, and we are first. They locked me out. We are going to be headed into their They locked the door on me. This is their French. Come on over. Their French immersion class. Okay, I want to show you these students. They get here. This is zero period. They get here at 7 in the morning to learn French. They've been studying French since they were in kindergarten, and right now going over the vocabulary and the grammar. They have a writing assignment. This is our teacher. Bonjour. Bonjour. Enchanté. Enchanté. See, we're learning French this morning, so we're going to be talking more to these students. And coming up, we're going to go see the band. There's a rock band here. There's a mariachi band. We're going to look at the costume classes. All of that coming up.
That is very impressive. And they're keeping their students safe in the classroom.
I won't get locked out.
Oui. Talk about overachievers. 7 a.m. in the morning. That's early.
Thanks, Jasmine. All right, well, this rain is already causing a mess for drivers.
Yeah, I mean, there's a major backdrop in Long Beach where part of the 405 is actually flooded. Take a look.
I'm Tina Patel in Long Beach, where the rain has caused flooded roadways. The 405 southbound just past Cherry had severe flooding this morning. At one point, cars were actually stuck in the water. Caltrans is slowly opening one lane of traffic and getting some of the backup through, but if you can avoid the area during this rainstorm, probably best to do so.
The foothills and the mountains are expected to see some of the heaviest rain from this storm system. So a mud flow alert has been issued for the fish fire burn scar here in the Duarte area. Take a look. This is some of the rain that we saw here earlier this morning. We drove up along Milk Canyon Road, and those temporary K-rails you see there, they were actually put in place after the fish fire back in June of 22 to divert any mud flows that come down during periods of heavy rain. They'll stay in place until that hillside can completely heal. City leaders say this area is in a green alert level right now, which means no restrictions have been put in place. It's just a warning to stay alert.
Six Flags Magic Mountain is still closed because of the rain. The theme park hasn't been open since Saturday. If you bought tickets, they will be valid until December 29th. And we just got word that Knott's Berry Farm is also shut down today.
No fun today.
No fun.
There will be no fun.
Just looking at the radar behind us, we're surrounded by green. A lot of rain.
A lot of rainfall, and I just want to get right to it because sometimes we show you, here's what's happening now. People want to know when it's going to stop.
Right.
Because
I got to get out the house.
Got to plan your day, you got stuff to do. I have a time where it looks like it'll be, the heaviest rain will be done. So let's hop over to the weather maps and get right to it. I will show you the radar eventually, but Inland Empire, the last spot to see the heavy rain leave. 8 o'clock, still pouring. 9 o'clock, still pouring. Raining, but lighter by 10 o'clock. Inland Empire, by 11 o'clock. The heavy rain is finished. Still some scattered downpours throughout the afternoon. You're not entirely done with the rain, but by 11 o'clock, the heaviest rainfall will be moving out. It is absolutely pouring right now in Ontario, and I want to show you the radar and show you what's going on right now with the radar. And here it is. Inland Empire, Orange County, heavy rainfall, lighter but still raining over LA County, Ventura County. You are drying out. I will take you on a time lapse first to show you how it's progressed from west to east over just the past 2 hours. We then zoom into the Inland Empire where it is pouring in Moreno Valley, it's pouring in Woodcrest and Riverside. We'll take it closer down to Riverside. We're right along the 91. It is just a mess with that heavy rainfall moving through. Rain this morning, showers this afternoon. The worst of it finished by 11 o'clock, but it's not even, we still have 2.5, 3 more hours to go to get there. So morning rain, afternoon showers, slight thunderstorm chance, highs today, upper 50s to low 60s. It is a mess of a morning commute. With more details on said mess, here's Kalina. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. So I still have the issues happening with the flooding. We have so many spots that are flooding this morning. I emailed Caltrans earlier this week saying, or last week I should say, saying they were going to have extra crews out here. So they're getting a handle on some of them rather quickly, but others are lingering. So north and southbound 110 at Torrance being one of them. All lanes are blocked. Traffic is being diverted off of the freeway here, but we do have alternate routes. You can just avoid it altogether. Vermont, Main Street, Western, and the 710. We also still have this SIG alert here, southbound 405 past Cherry. Only the carpool lane is open. This is some flooding happening. This is a new one. Northbound 405 just past the 10. This is in the carpool and the 2 left lanes. I do have a look at one of our cameras right situated on the 405 at the 10, where you can see cars just moving really slowly and all of the flooding happening in those lanes as well. Looks like it's coming up almost to the middle of the tires there. So I'll keep an eye on this one for you throughout the morning as well. But more flooding 10 west at the southbound 710. This is impacting all lanes. So take your alternate route, the 210 or the 60. Still have a SIG alert in Orange County. I will have more on that coming up. Ruta Bay, back to you.
Kalina, thank you. Well, music's biggest night is now just a few weeks away, and one photographer has had a front row seat to the Grammys, as well as all the other award shows, working with dozens of winners, rock stars, pop stars, and celebrities over the years.
Yeah, he's got quite a resume. And Kcal News anchor Jamie Yuccas sat down with Matthew Batone as he debuts his new exhibit. Here's today's Travel with Jamie.
Instead of a coffee shop, we order in a latte to meet Matthew Batone at the Leica store in Los Angeles.
Thank you for having Java with Jamie.
It's where he's setting up his exhibit called Paris Blues, a decade of moments and reflections.
And UPS, it was supposed to be delivered on Monday. 27 more prints are not here, most of the show.
Do you know where they are?
They're supposed to be delivered today.
Luckily, they got delivered in the middle of our interview.
Okay, let's see what's in here.
And he takes us through the images.
I love the bottles of wine over here.
That's the thing about pictures is you'll notice, now that I see them big, I'm gonna notice things I didn't notice before.
Then Batone debuted all the prints a few days later in front of celebrities like Lenny Kravitz, Dave Chappelle, and Chris Rock.
It's like 10, 11 years of my life going back to Paris, and every time I go, and so one night it might be 4 a.m. with Mick Jagger, another night it might be 1 a.m. with Georgia Smith on Lenny Kravitz's piano after he did a TV show, I was shooting stills with him, and we met her, and she comes back, and it might be the club with Jay-Z, or it might just be a couple kissing in the middle of the Tuileries, the park.
The pictures of those regular people also tell a fascinating story.
I was in the middle of shooting a fashion campaign and for a French company, and this guy came running after me after I took the picture as I was already shooting the model again, and he's like, yo, what are you doing? Are you crazy? And I was like, what? He's like, that's my mistress, that's not my wife. And I was like, oh, my bad, okay. He's like, you gotta delete the photo. And I look at the back of the camera, I'm like, I'm not deleting this photo, I'm sorry, but you should probably not make out with your mistress in the middle of a public park, You might be capturing these images, but these images wouldn't exist without you being there. Somebody else might have a different angle and another perspective, and there's something about also the black and white that keeps everything so timeless.
The exhibit focuses on Paris, a city he grew up in but left in 1987.
I would say it's a tribute to my first love, which is Paris, because I discovered everything I love in Paris. Music, art books, poetry, all through the flea markets of Paris. I grew up going to flea markets every weekend, and that was like my dad's routine no matter what, and I still do every time I'm in Paris.
Why do you not have an accent?
Well, when I moved here in September '87, I remember getting in trouble because I was listening to Richard Pryor, Dick Gregory, Red Fox records, and I discovered Rudy Ray Moore records, comedy records, and I used to emulate them. I used to imitate them all the time. Thank God there's no recordings of that. It would be very inappropriate today, but that's kind of how I had learned how to speak English.
Do you consider yourself now an Angelino?
No.
Where is home?
Okay, I live in Malibu, but I still feel so French, I say really rude things all the time,
Meant as a joke, I do witness the man who is Lenny Kravitz's personal photographer and has been renowned for his work with Quincy Jones, Stevie Wonder, Miles Davis, Prince, and Marvin Gaye, just to name a few, sometimes be rude to himself.
I just didn't feel like I was a photographer like the photographers that I admired, you know.
I think that's an important lesson for people because I think there's so many of us that either think we have imposter syndrome or we're not really good at what we're doing or someone else is so much better. You have imposter syndrome?
Terribly, yeah.
Still?
Still, yeah. There's still moments like, you know, I'll be standing somewhere with somebody that I greatly admire and I'm just like, there's got to be like a glitch in the matrix that I'm the one who's here right now. You know, like,
I don't think that's happening.
Got really lucky and fell through the wrong crack, you know.
He says the drive to always keep working on his craft likely comes from his family history.
I want to talk about your family because I read your grandfather had to flee Egypt.
Yes, both my grandparents and my parents.
So that's
1956, yeah, with Nasser and the whole situation with the Canal de Suez. They basically got a call saying, you know, they were coming for them. My grandfather got a call from his banker, I guess, in Cairo, and just said, you guys need to book it. And they were French speaking, you know, and they were French in Egypt, but Egyptian, and they were Jewish, and it was just not the right moment for that. And so they left overnight, left everything behind. It was very traumatic for my parents.
His parents married, then divorced. He stayed in Paris and attended the Waldorf school.
Probably taught me everything I know. As much as I hated it while I was in it, I have so much gratitude for the Waldorf school system because they just throw you out there and it's like you figure it out. You design your own everything, you create your own textbooks, you build your own spoons, and you know, everything was just, we made everything.
So did you get into photography at that time?
I got into photography a little later, I would say when I moved to LA, so I was 14.
His mother had moved to Southern California and was well connected in the world of fashion. That's what eventually led to his meeting with Lenny Kravitz.
I want to make more documentaries. I've made two Lenny Kravitz documentaries, one of which was called Looking Back on Love, came out about 11 years ago. The other one never came out, called Ride, which will maybe come out someday. But I definitely want to make, you know, real feature films and all that.
Batone has been a designer, a producer, and a creator for decades, winning a Grammy for putting together Dave Chappelle's comedy album, The Closer.
This is Dave. He tells jokes for a living.
But Batone says he still can't believe where photography has led him, and this exhibit is a celebration of that.
Is this exhibit forcing you to maybe live more in the present?
Mm-hmm. Definitely, it's also forcing me to remind myself to be present and remind myself that this is all a, you know, this is the reaction to the action, you know? It's like these moments will exist forever after I'm gone, after these people are all gone, you know? And so it reminds me that I actually have a purpose in this life. You know, I feel various purposes, the obvious ones being a family and, you know, being a good person and, you know, helping others, whatever it is. But as my job goes, which a lot of times this does not feel like a job, you know, so it's my purpose.
Jamie Yukas, Kcal News.
What an interesting life and career and background, and he's meeting and documenting so many amazing people.
And I love how vulnerable he is, you know, talking about having imposter syndrome, which is something so many people have, and to be in the present, because that's also hard to do. So
it really
what
is.
a cool guy.
Yeah, very nice to meet him.
He's still French in his mind.
The time right now is 7:43, and it is time for Class Act.
That's right. Jasmine Veal is in the classroom at Elliott Arts Magnets in Pasadena. I can't find you, Jasmine. Where are you at?
I'm inside the classroom, okay? I'm in their French immersion class here for Class Act, our series kicking off again this morning after the holidays, right? How are you feeling?
Je suis fatiguée.
Is that I'm tired?
Yes.
See, I'm learning some French, these amazing students, and so much more here with Class Act coming up.
Well, it is time for Class Act, where we feature SoCal schools and what makes them unique.
Yeah, and today let's take you to Elliott Arts Magnet in Altadena. Kcal News reporter Jasmine Vio live there to show us around. Jasmine, this is the first middle school that we've actually featured so far. And right now you're in French class, yeah?
You fit right in.
Yes. Well, thank you. I know they gave me my own desk and everything. This is our first middle school. And what a middle school to show off, right, here at Elliott Arts Magnet. Yes, in Altadena, but this is our French immersion class. This is 0 period. It starts at 7:15 in the morning. So these students are studying for their writing assignment tomorrow, learning the nouns and adjectives. I'm learning bonjour.
Bonjour.
Oh, see, they said it so much better than I did. And this is Mademoiselle Bruit.
Bonjour.
Bonjour. Enchanté.
Enchanté.
This is awesome, this French immersion. And these students have been studying since they were in kindergarten. So coming here to the middle school, they're continuing on. They have so much practice already.
Yes, and I think that's amazing that they get to learn academics in English and in French. Like, that's definitely going to be an advantage later in life for the career. And everything else.
Yeah, and we were talking about, you know, coming in here, they already have I guess, the basics of what they're doing. But what are you going over now?
So right now we're reviewing adjectives, group nouns, because we're going to do informative text writing. So that's just grammar and conjugation that they need in order to produce a really good text.
Well, I've been trying to learn what they're learning. Look at this textbook and all this. I mean, I'm just so impressed. And you said, I'm tired. Say that again.
Je suis fatiguée.
Fatigue. I picked something up, okay? Very impressive. They even learn world history in French. This is Principal Mackenzie. Good morning.
Good morning.
And this is just one of many offerings here at this middle school.
Right. We're the recipients of a multi-million grant that allows us to have a dual language immersion program. So a French program, the only one like it in Pasadena. We also have an arts program that all of our students get at least 90 minutes of arts during the day, and then our conservatory arts program that adds 2 extra hours. So those classes are taught by professional teaching artists who come from the profession onto our campus to teach our kids during the day in 7th period, and then continuing on in the evening. So lots of programs that we have here at Marshall Elliott.
Right. Yes. Up next, from French, we're going to band. Yes. We're going to be seeing the rock band and mariachi.
Yes, so those are examples of some of our programs that students can participate in during the day at Elliott, or they can continue on in the afternoon.
Thank you. I can't wait. We're getting the whole tour of the middle school. And I love this school, founded back in the 1930s, but it's changed and advanced and added in all of that new stuff to make it what it is today. Anyone want to teach me? Oh, we have a raised hand. We have 30 seconds. Okay. What do you have for me?
Bonjour, je m'appelle Dinari. J'ai 13 ans et ma couleur préférée, c'est le rouge.
Okay, tell me what you said.
Hi, my name's Dinari. I'm 13 and my favorite color is red.
Okay, see, it's beautiful. I love it. Okay, I'm going to send it back to you guys. From French, like I said, we're going to go rock out right now. So you got to stay tuned for that. We might even have Battle of the Bands, I'm told. So I'm heading over there now. Back to you.
Jasmine, they are so impressive that they're up this early.
Right?
Learning French before school.
I get the applause.
Thank you, Jasmine.
She does look like a high schooler or middle schooler, huh?
Yes, she does.
Yeah.
All right, well, the rain is back, and it is coming down even harder. Meteorologist Paul Diano is joining us now with a look at our next weather. Paul.
Hey, guys. Yeah, the window of the heaviest rainfall is from now until 11 o'clock in the Inland Empire, so a few more hours. I've zoomed in on Moreno Valley. You are one of the wettest spots. Rainfall rates in excess of 1/2 of an inch per hour. Popped on some rainfall rates here. Just south of San Bernardino, it's coming down at about 4/10 of an inch per hour. It's about 1/3 of an inch per hour in Lake Elsinore. Compare that to what's going on around Anaheim. The rainfall rate is about 1/10 in Anaheim of what it is in Moreno Valley right now. So the rainfall intensity is markedly higher in southern Orange County and also Riverside and San Bernardino County in the Inland Empire. The rain for now has stopped in eastern Ventura County, and the steady rain has also left Los Angeles, moving from west to east, but there will be some scattered downpours throughout the day. There also is an isolated thunderstorm chance. Rainfall totals really kicked up in downtown Los Angeles over the past couple hours. You've now gone over an inch of rain over a 3-day period, so we've caught up. On Friday, we were 58% of average rainfall for the water year. Just one storm has given us a 15% boost. We're now up to 73% of average. But that's not what you care about right now. You want to get to work on time, and that's going to be a challenge. Kalina will have the forecast for the roads coming up in a second. Here's an urban flood advisory. LA County, Orange County, Inland Empire until 9 o'clock. There is widespread street flooding and highway flooding all around Southern California from the rain that's already fallen. 58 soggy in Long Beach, 55 in Riverside. Santa Clarita, you've got some rain, 53. A break from the rain right now. Simi Valley, Camarillo, still a chance this afternoon. Orange County, your steady soaking rainfall wraps up by 10 o'clock. Rain coverage goes from 80% to 20% in pretty short order. Still chilly, still cloudy, still a chance of a shower or a thunderstorm this afternoon, but the heavy rainfall is moving through right now. I painted the jet stream right over us. Why? Because up where the planes fly, the wind is running at about 150 to 180 miles per hour. When the jet stream's right over you, it enhances the rainfall, which we're seeing right now. That's why we expect the heavy rainfall to continue in the Inland Empire and Southern Orange County through 8 or 9 o'clock, but then really taper off this afternoon. But notice we're not completely dry. There's still an isolated thunderstorm chance and scattered downpours throughout the afternoon. Still a few showers out there this evening, but we're mainly dry. We are dry overnight tonight. Tomorrow morning, storm is gone. It'll be cloudy to start, but sunny to finish. And that's going to kick off a rather significant change in our forecast. Look at this. All the rain today, and then not a drop of rain for the 6 days after that. And yes, you can start making plans now to get outside this weekend, where highs will be in the mid to upper 70s. But it's Monday morning and traffic stinks. Here's Kalina with a look at the road.
That's a nice way of putting it, Paul. Yes, it's a mess out there this morning, and I have a new area where all lanes are shut down again because of flooding this morning. So this is the eastbound side of the 10. All lanes are blocked off. You can see that backup coming off the 605, also impacting your drive on the westbound side. But your alternate routes this morning would be Ramona Boulevard. You could also take the eastbound 60 or the eastbound 210. This is a look at the 405 right at the 10 in West LA, where you can see the flooding we've been talking about in the carpool and left lanes. This is what it looks like on the map this morning, and that backup coming off the 105. Back to you guys.
Thank you. 7:54. Still to come, the Kansas City Chiefs. They were heading back to the AFC Championship game. It was a nail-biting face-off with the Buffalo Bills, and there's one moment everyone's talking about. Kcal News sports anchor Chris Hayrie joins us next.
Then at 8, the family of a former drug lord is coming after Netflix to stop its latest project from streaming this week. Find out why.
Thanks to Avalara, we can calculate sales tax on almost anything, anywhere automatically. Avalara.
What if tax rates change?
Okay, we are 20 days away from the Super Bowl, but before that, we've got to get through the conference championships.
8 teams left it all out on the field over the weekend, but only 4 came out on top. Kcal News sports anchor Chris Hayre is joining us now with a recap. So let's start with the team of former LA Rams quarterback Jared Goff.
Yeah.
The Lions moving on.
How about that? The Lions moving on. Not something you could say for 32 years. The first time that the Lions have been in the NFC Championship game since January of 90.
But, I mean, talk about an amazing game.
It was an amazing,
to the wire.
Down to the wire. Yeah. The most drama and intrigue of any of the games. And this is like the Patrick Mahomes Invitational, the 5th straight AFC Championship game for Mahomes and the Chiefs. You know, you feel for Bills fans because they think that this is the year every year with Josh Allen under center. Clearly it was not. You see Taylor Swift in the stands, and, you know, it's just Mahomes magic. Travis Kelce with a pair of touchdowns, and they found enough to win. They go to Baltimore next week. The Ravens playing their first championship game in Baltimore since 1971, so it should be a pair of gems.
I love the optimism. All right, so before we go, real fast, final 2, who's making it to the Super Bowl?
All right, if I had to pick right now, I'm going Ravens.
Okay.
I'm going Lions. I want to see the Lions get there, and I want to see Lamar Jackson in the big game.
All right, Paul, do you agree with that? He's in the back.
Oh,
I got it all from Paul.
He loves the Eagles.
We'll talk about this later.
Niners.
Okay.
There you go.
Thank you, Chris. And Kcal News at 8 starts right now.
This is Kcal News Mornings.
Good morning. Today is Monday, January 22nd. Thanks for waking up with us here on Kcal News Mornings. I'm Roadway Shabazi.
Good morning. I'm Chris Holmstrom in for Jamie Yukas. Here's what we have this hour.
Flyers nationwide left stunned after the door plug blew out on Boeing 737 MAX 9. And now, 2 weeks since the incident, are the planes safe to fly?
Home sales see the worst year in decades. On your sides, Christine Lazar dives into why and also shares why there's some hope for the new year.
And of course, the big story of the day, the heavy rain dumping over our area, from flooding to evacuation warnings and a mess out on the roads. We are live with team coverage getting you ready to take on the day. So let's start things off with meteorologist Paul Diano, and it is a mess out there, Paul.
Yeah, good morning to you at home. Good morning to you, Roadway, and also Chris. I want to show you 2 things that are going on. One, the widespread heavy rainfall is now exiting Orange County in the Inland Empire, but replacing it, scattered downpours, which will keep the commute messy. I combined 2 words there. The commute messy through the morning hours. Here we go. San Bernardino still pouring. Moreno Valley still pouring. Head west to Chino and Rancho Cucamonga. The rain goes from heavy to light. Orange County, same story. Southern Orange County soggy. Northern Orange County not as much. But now new scattered downpours are popping up where Los Angeles west on the 101 to Calabasas is dry, but still raining in and around Redondo Beach, Downey, and also Long Beach. Here's a look outside where it is still soggy. Downtown Los Angeles, some light rain at the top of the hour, 58 degrees. We'll see a chance of showers and downpours, even an isolated thunderstorm threat into the afternoon. But the widespread heavy rain is wrapping up right now. Highs today, not that high. Upper 50s, low 60s for a 3rd straight day. Downtown Los Angeles, 62. So even though the heaviest rain is moving out, all that water is still stuck on the roads. So roads are a mess. Here's Kalina with an update. Good morning.
Yes, they are. Such a mess out there. We have a new problem spot on the 10. We still have the old problems on the 405 and the 110. So it's just flooding everywhere. This is one of the spots, 10 eastbound at Vincent Avenue. All lanes are blocked off here. That backup right now, leaving the 605, but we keep on making calls just to make sure the lanes are really blocked off. I do know we have flooding in the lanes, and CHP officer is on scene, but still waiting to see if it's actually shut down, and if so, how long that'll be. Got alternate routes for you, though, just in case. Ramona being one of them, eastbound 60 or the eastbound 210. All will help you get around that closure there. We also do have the SIG alert continuing. It's flooding on the southbound 405 past Cherry. Only the carpool lane is open. That backup heading out of Carson. And then we also have more flooding. This is a 405 at the 10. This is in our West LA next traffic camera. You can see the flooding in the carpool lane, also in the 2 left lanes. And this is what it looks like in the map. That backup now building out of Inglewood. Back to you guys.
Kalina, thank you. And the heavy rain is flooding roads, including freeways, and creating challenges for drivers in cities near the coast.
Yeah, it's been a steady downpour all morning, but it's all adding up. Kcal's Tina Patel has a look at the delays and also the beach warnings from the runoff. What's your location right now, Tina?
Good morning, you guys. The rain is actually kind of lightened up here in Long Beach, but we're along the 405 405, and it is still a mess here. If you look above, this is right past Cherry Avenue on southbound 405, and this road actually started to flood right around 5 a.m. So it's been several hours that the Caltrans crews have been trying to get the water out of this road. I was just talking to CHP, and they said that it seems like they've got their pump house working, but they're trying to get somebody involved in the city to open up their pump house to see if maybe that can help get the water off of the road. But this has been a mess for several hours. We hear that maybe when it first started flooding around 5 a.m. that there might have been a couple vehicles that actually got stuck. Those have now been moved out, but unfortunately there's still a lot of water, and the 1 through 5 lanes are actually closed. All that's open right now is the HOV lane, so cars are slowly getting through, but it is a big backup here. And right now there's no estimate on when they might be able to get the water out of the freeway and get the roads back open. So the best thing that people can do is really just stay away from the southbound 405 through Long Beach this morning while crews try to work through this. I was just talking to CHP, and I said, is this a problem where you normally have flooding? And they say, no, normally it doesn't happen, but they say, you know, they just got a lot of heavy rain at one point this morning, and it feels like maybe some storm drains got clogged, and so now they're dealing with this mess. Again, they don't have an estimate for when things will go back to normal, so really just best to stay away if you can. We'll send it back to you.
Okay, Tina, thank you. Mud flow concerns have prompted evacuation warnings. Our assignment manager, Mark Liu, is at the desk with the details. Mark.
Yeah, Roadway, these are areas that go under an evacuation warning. We have seen this before in periods of intense rain. It's parts of Topanga Canyon and just this morning, parts of Agua Dulce. We sent Kcal to go look at these areas yesterday before or just as these evacuation warnings were being announced. Let me show you some video. This is the Topanga Canyon area at about 5:30 yesterday, 5:30 p.m. Topanga Canyon near Santa Maria Road. This is basically halfway between Malibu and Calabasas. The evacuation warning for this area popped up, and it went into effect at 9 p.m. on Sunday, and it's going to stay in effect until Tuesday morning at 6. Now, officials are concerned about this area because the rain that we're having could trigger water and mud flows down these canyons, in part because this is near the Palisades burn scar. If you remember the Palisades fire, it ripped through this area in May of 2021. Now, this is just a warning, no evacuation order for this area yet. It's just an alert to let people know they need to be ready to leave if that order is given. Now, to get you a better idea of where this is, I want to bring you out to my map here and show you. Here is LA County, and the small yellow area to the east of Topanga Canyon is what we're talking about. Santa Maria Road is right there, and these homes in this sort of mountainous area are the ones that are under this evacuation warning. There's also a second evacuation warning up here in the Agua Dulce area along the Santa Clara River. It's basically by Soledad Canyon and Agua Dulce Canyon. These homes in here are under an evacuation order. And also checking on social media today, we saw this. It's always kind of disappointing to see this. Six Flags Magic Mountain is going to be closed now until it's basically closed today. Because of the rain. Tickets purchased for these days are going to be honored through the end of the year. And also we saw this, Knott's Berry Farm also closed today due to inclement weather. However, I did check both for Disneyland and Universal Studios. They are open right now. No information about them closing. I'll keep monitoring all these evacuation warnings. If anything changes, I'll definitely let you know. Until then, that's it from the desk. I'll send it back to you.
All right, canceling a lot of plans out there, Mark. Thank you so much. And our Storm Watch team coverage continues at 8:30 from the mountains and foothills. And remember, you can also check out our interactive radar and follow our 7-day next weather forecast or download our app.
It is now a two-person race to the GOP presidential nomination with the New Hampshire primary a day away. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis bowed out yesterday despite coming in second place in the Iowa caucuses. Polls in New Hampshire had him coming in a distant third. He is now backing former President Trump and took a shot at Trump's former UN ambassador, Nikki Haley.
We can't go back to the old Republican guard of yesteryear, a repackaged form of warmed-over corporatism that Nikki Haley represents.
So now it is Trump versus Haley, and the latest poll has 50% of likely voters in New Hampshire going with Trump, with Haley coming in at 34%. The time right now, 8:07, checking in on your New Year's resolutions, whether you're still going strong or already looking for a 2025 reset, what your progress is or lack thereof, and what it says about you.
Then following up on the Alaska airline mid-air scare.